yo, ama ogaro, ao, aye, oh, ama oge, oh, ama ogan, oh ya gaga mata, oh ya bata bata tonangu, ama ogaro, oh, ama ogaye, oh, ama ogan, oh ya gaga mata, oh ya bata bata tonangu. Ama ogaro, ao, baba ye, ama oga, oh, ao, ama ogaro, odio, oh, bambara, sese, bambara, sese, bambara, sese, oh, sao, se, bambara. Awo bama oga bama oga oyo ganga mato oyo gbata to na ihu ama oga lo awo aye oh ama oga oyo ganga mato oyo gbata to na ama oga lo oh, bama oga, oyo gaga mato, oyo gbata to na nulu, ama oga lo, ao, ao,
oh, ama oga, oyo gaga mato, oyo gbata to na nulu, ama oga lo.
Yema, naho, jima. No, Ajima, Yema, Jima. What are you?
Oh,
I will give you my money, low, but you say no, no. Give me my money, yeah, but you say no. Give me my money, yeah, but you say you no go pay. Give me my money, yeah, but you say no. I will give you my money, yeah, but you say no, no.
Give me my money, yeah, but you say no.
Oh, they get no caglonele. You give me some contract, I'm finishing the work, but you say you no go pay. Audio. Oh, they get no caglonele. You give me some contract, I'm finishing the work, but you say you no go pay. Give me my money, yeah, but you say no, no.
Give me my money, yeah, but you say no.
I give me my money, yeah, but you say you no go pay. Give me my money, yeah, but you say no. I kaka masago, baby amalu, oh, kaka masago, yama, baby amalu, kaka masago,
kaka masegbe, eba segbe, kaka masegbe, eba segbe, kaka masegbe.
oh, give me my money, yeah, but you say no. I give you my money, yeah, but you say no go pay.
Give me my money, yeah, but you say no.
I be one Dr. Panielo. I be one Dr. Panielo. I be one Dr. Panielo.
I be one Dr. Panielo.
Oh, kaka masago.
Ama.
Baby amalio. Oh, kaka masago. Assembly va. Kaka masago. Joseph va. Oh, kaka masago. Badokli. Kaka masago. Amagodo. Kaka masago. Baby amalio. Oh, kaka masago. Mon père, Bayema. Kaka masago. Baby amalio. Oh, kaka masago. Baby amalio. Oh, kaka masago. Baby amalio. Oh, kaka masago. Mon père va. Kaka masago. Baby amalio. Oh, abi wa Dr. Panielo.
Abi wa Dr. Panielo.
Oh, abi wa Dr. Panielo.
Abi wa Dr. Panielo.
I'll take cut on a lamb. You give me some
Contract and finishing the work, but you say you no go pay.
Oh, they can no cut on a lamb. You give me some
Contract and finishing the work, but you say you no go pay.
Oh, give me my money, oh, but you say no, no.
Give me my money, but you say no.
Oh, give me my money, but you say no, no.
Give me my money, but you say no.
Oh, give me my money, but you say no, no.
Give me my money, but you say no.
Hey, Kaka Matako, mon père, le diamant. Hey, Kaka Matako, le diamant. Hey, Kaka Matako, assembly va. Kaka Matako, amovato. Hey, Kaka Matako, le diamant. 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 Antona, yo Antona, yo Antona, yo Antona, yo Antona, yo Antona, Antona, yo Antona, yo Antona, yo Antona, Ninka Antona, akayo Antona, Antona, yo Antona, no Ninka Antona, akanwe Antona, no Antona, yo Antona, Antona, akayo Antona,
Let us appreciate the arts, the craft, the performance of Moji Ensemble from the School of Performing Arts, University of Ghana. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Great Hall for the Open Door Dialogues Decade of our Repatriation. My name is Kafui Day. It's my pleasure to be your Master of Ceremonies. May I kindly invite everyone to take their seats as we prepare to begin the official media launch of the Open Door Dialogues. If you're still outside the auditorium, now is a good time to to make your way in because we are beginning, and I'd like to kindly invite our very important guests to make their way up onto the stage to take their seats so we can begin today's ceremony. Thank you very much. Obinfo, please bring your guests up on the stage for me. Thank you. Can we have all our speakers up onto the stage? Kindly. Professor Ntewusu, Dr. Kuvo, Obinfo, Mr. Nanaya Mante from SIC Insurance PLC, Professor Kobe Mensah, Ambassador Millie Tucker, Professor Imhotep Alagidede, up on the stage for me. Thank you. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, that means that every seat in the front belongs to you. You are my VIP, so you can promote yourselves to the front without writing any examinations. So let's fill the front rows. It looks nicer on camera. So there's a space there. There are 3 spaces here. Spaces in the front. Let's sit in all the front seats. Gentleman with the lady in green and the lady in the beautiful braids can sit in the front. The spaces are for you. There are 2 spaces here. There are 2 spaces in front. It looks nice. Yes, 2 spaces here. One by my big brother Caleb. Thank you so much. Let's all try and move as far forward. Ushers, please help my people to move everybody as far forward as possible. Thank you so much for your cooperation. With that, may I kindly ask all of us to rise for the singing of the national anthem of the Republic of Ghana. And make our nation great and strong, to defend forever the cause of freedom and pride. Fill our hearts with true humility. Make us cherish fearless honesty, and help us to resist aggressors with all our will and might forevermore. And help us to resist aggressors with all our will and might forevermore. Kindly take your seats. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the Open Door Dialogues was conceived as a platform to build stronger relationships between Africa and the global African diaspora. We're happy to have all of you here with us, and this initiative has become possible because of remarkable collaboration, and we wish to express our sincere appreciation to the institutions, organizations whose partnership has brought today's vision to life. Our heartfelt thanks go even before the program ends to the University of Ghana, the College of Humanities, School of Performing Arts, Abibi Tumi, SIC Insurance PLC, Black Star Experience, the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture, the Office of the President of Ghana, our valued media partners, the planning committee, our volunteers, and our production team. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in showing our appreciation to all our partners and sponsors with a warm round of applause. And before we proceed further, it's fitting that we invoke the blessings of our ancestors and acknowledge the spiritual foundations upon which this gathering is built. To lead us in a traditional prayer is the visionary behind the Open Door Dialogues, a distinguished scholar, Pan-Africanist, linguist, and founder of Ebibitumi. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Obimfo Professor Obadele Kambon.
Ago, the mama kwaba. Miawezo, nyebake, ekabo, karibuni, excellent chijam. Welcome to you all. And to kick off the Open Door Dialogues, we want to call on all of those great grandcestors who paved the way for us to be here today. So we will do that in a traditional way. And again, we crave your indulgence as we set the stage and set the tone for this decade of our repatriation. Ago. Otumfa riding yoko ponchire kwame, yachere wonsuo ene yama wonsuo. Asase a amponinamwa, asase a odi amu awosama yaduane die demrefedue. Abosun ja samodo so ntin yintimi momuni baako na so yefa baako die from nyina. Na na broko adao, na ndameti agiman, asugibi, asuboafo so jefo. Asene fon samafo, gona fon samafo, sono fon samafo, sechere fon samafo, yoko fon samafo, aduane fon samafo. Brechu fon samafo, kona fon samafo. Ye nanom samafo nyina momra meka ye ho. Mombo nanom din. So please mention the names of our great grandcestors who paved the way for us. Nana Kwame Nkrumah. Please mention their names with me. Ezio. Nana Patrice Lumumba Yedase. Ezio. Muyina momra meka ye ho na ene de ene se ene ye fiara nopa yesremo nkwa na okwa ho san yesremo nimde ne nyansa yesremo nkoso ne nkwanim yesremo mpunti na dom ne bibia ba adepa ba adom benchira yese nyame bibi wo soro no mamnsanka afi yese wufro de apa na apian nti mompia yina yensanka bibia ba adom aba yenchira aba nkoso ye nuanom fri amano ne ma momra fie yesan se fie ne fie mombo ye ho ban yeso haha mukra momana sika de amayen we na asremo dawroma mo ne mo hunu senye enti maye ni mfra maye so nsi sebe maye kotenwu ma boni bia si yakwan we na asremo dawroma na nipa bonefo bia ka mo nko na abibifo jijade obone bra kra man yeye on hwa so poton na yen kofa na jopare de mum we na asremo dawroma mo hira na ya hia hai mo hira mia pai madawroma mo hira na kuse ewie. So that is a bit of how we do things in the diaspora. Mesdames, Messieurs.
Yes, so yeah, say thank you very much, Akpena Obimfo, Professor Obadele Kambon, for the prayer. On behalf of the organizers, partners, and planning committee, it's my distinct pleasure to welcome you to the official media launch of the Open Door in Dialogues, affectionately known as D.O.O.R. And D.O.O.R. stands for Decade of Our Repatriation. My name is Kafui Day. It's an honor and a privilege to serve as Master of Ceremonies for this very significant occasion. Today marks more than the launch of another initiative. It marks the beginning of a bold conversation, one designed to strengthen meaningful connections between Ghana, the African continent, and the global African diaspora. D.O.O.R. seeks to create practical pathways for dialogue, for investment, for education, for cultural exchange, and for enduring collaboration among African people across the world. With your permission, let us acknowledge the distinguished personalities who honor us today with their presence. Our special guests of honor, Minister, State Department, State of the African Diaspora, Her Excellency Ambassador Millie Tucker. Ambassador, give us a wave so we know that you're here. Thank you very much. Of course, we are honored by the presence of Obimfo Professor Obadele Kambon, who just prayed, founder of the BB2Me and convener of the Open Door Dialogues. We acknowledge the presence of Professor Imhotep Alagidede. The provost of the College of Humanities is represented today by the acting dean of the School of Performing Arts, University of Ghana, Dr. Sylvanus Koshi Kuvo. Give us a wave, sir. We also have representatives of the University of Ghana, traditional leaders, government officials, members of the diplomatic community, members of the media, distinguished invited guests. We are all welcoming you to today's event. And this initiative has been made possible because of remarkable collaboration, and our sincere appreciation goes to the University of Ghana, the College of Humanities, the School of Performing Arts, BB2Me, SIC Insurance PLC, Black Star Experience, the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture, Office of the President of Ghana, our valued media partners, the planning committee, our volunteers, and the production team as well. Now, a little bit about the Open Door Dialogues. It was conceived as a platform to build stronger relationships between Africa and the global African diaspora. What it seeks to do is to recognize that our shared history should inspire a shared future. So D.O.O.R is about opening opportunities, very much pun intended, for meaningful dialogue, for investment, for education, for research, for cultural exchange, and sustainable partnerships that benefit Africans everywhere. It's been championed, as I said earlier, by Obimfo Kambon, together with dedicated colleagues and partners who believe that reconnecting Africans across the world is not merely symbolic, but it is essential to Africa's future prosperity and global influence. And why the University of Ghana? Well, it's only fitting that this journey begins right here. This could hardly be a more appropriate venue than this place, the University of Ghana, our nation's premier institution of higher learning and a respected center of scholarship, of leadership, and of Pan-African thought. And its support reflects the importance of bringing together academia, government, industry, and the African diaspora around one shared vision. Before we hear from the provost's representative, it's my pleasure this morning to bring onto the stage the director of the Institute of African Studies to address us. Let's welcome Professor Samuel Intawusu.
Good morning, and we are all welcome to this very important place. And as usual, I will say all protocols observed. It is a great honor to be invited to this special media lunch and dialogue series, D.O.O.R, Decade of Our Repatriation, spanning 2026 to 2036. D.O.O.R intends to create structural conversation among returnees, diasporans, scholars, entrepreneurs, cultural leaders, students, public figures, media practitioners, institutional partners, employees and employers around repatriation and also issues of brain gain. At its foundation in the 1960s, Kwame Nkrumah charged the Institute of African Studies to engage in research on Africa and its diaspora using African-centered methodologies. The same methodology should be applied to teaching and advocacy. The Institute has since then been devoted to this long-standing commitment to African-centered knowledge and knowledge generation, including issues of Pan-African thought, cultural restoration, diaspora engagement, and practical national transformation. The D.O.O.R initiative, as far as the Institute of African Studies is concerned, is a natural component of activities already engaged in by the Institute of African Studies and also the University of Ghana. IAS is open for stakeholder engagement. We have done this in the past, and we are more than willing to do it now and also in the future, engaging students, media, and the wider public. Through D.O.O.R, we should be able to advance even further our core research activities on Pan-Africanism and the relationship between Africa and the global diaspora. We should be able to revisit the ideals of Pan-African thinkers such as Marcus Garvey, Martin Luther King, Du Bois, Kwame Nkrumah, George Padmore, and many more. As already noted, the Institute of African Studies was very visible at the United Nations and contributed to discussions that led to the passing of UN Resolution A/RES/80/2025, which actually declared the slave trade as the gravest crime against humanity. Now, the involvement of the Institute of African Studies in such global discussions is to enable a genuine cultural restoration and also the issue of ensuring historical justice. I would like to conclude by stating that the decade of our repatriation, 2026 to 2036, is important to African studies because it represents a major contemporary movement linking Africa and its diaspora through issues of repatriation, citizenship, investment, cultural restoration, and Pan-African solidarity. At the academic level, it provides us with a very unique opportunity to study very complex systems and issues, including identity, migration, development, decolonization, and the practical realization of Pan-African ideals in the 21st century. I want to acknowledge the unique contribution of our very own Obinfo Professor Obadele Kambon of the Institute of African Studies. I also want to recognize the contribution of individuals, organizations, and partners that made this event very possible. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Professor Samuel Ntewusu. We appreciate you for reminding us that Africa's story is best told by Africans, and that institutions of scholarship have a very vital role to play in reconnecting our past with our future. Your remarks have set a fitting intellectual foundation for today's launch. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker joins us on behalf of the Provost of the College of Humanities. He's an accomplished academic, theatre practitioner, and administrator who currently serves as acting dean of the School of Performing Arts, University of Ghana. His leadership continues to strengthen one of Africa's foremost centers of the study and celebration of culture and the performing arts. Please join me in warmly welcoming Dr. Sylvanus Koshi Kupo to deliver the welcome message on behalf of the Provost.
Good morning, everyone. Our Provost would have loved to be here with us, but an equally important event has somehow hijacked him, and he has decided to ask me to step into his big shoes and to bring you these welcome remarks. And I read his words. Honorable Ministers of State, and I hope they are here, members of the Diplomatic Corps, Nananum and traditional authorities, representatives of corporate Ghana, our development partners, members of University Council and management, faculty, staff and students, members of the historic diaspora, the repatriate community, friends from the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning. A few hours west of where we sit this morning, there is a door. It stands in the wall of Cape Coast Castle. It is a narrow and a low door that faces the Atlantic. For close to 3 centuries, men, women, and children were marched through it in chains and onto the waiting ships. They did not know where they were being taken. They knew only that they will not be coming back. History gave that door its name, the door of no return. But there is a part of that story we tell for less often. In 1998, the remains of 2 people of African descent were brought home across the same ocean, laid in state here in Accra, and then carried back through that same doorway, this time from the sea inward. And on the far side of the door, facing the water, someone painted 3 words, door of return. Same door, same stone, a different direction of travel. That is what brings us here this morning. It is my pleasure to welcome you to official media launch of the Open Door Dialogues, an initiative of the College of Humanities, University of Ghana, and with it, the decade of our repatriation, 2026 to 2036. The name is not a decoration. D.O.O.R, door, stands for the decade of our repatriation. Our work over the next 10 years is not to take a door that history slammed shut, that our forebears prized open, and to hold it open, not for a year, for a decade, and not as a gesture, but as a plan. Ghana has walked this road before. In 2019, the year of return called all people home to mark 400 years since the first of us were landed in Virginia. And the world answered. What we propose now is different in kind. A homecoming can be a moment. A decade must be a structure. The year of return asks the diaspora to come. The decade of our repatriation asks a harder question. When they come, what do they find and what can they build? As Ghana's premier university, we have a responsibility not only to generate knowledge, but to convene those who can act on it. The Open Door Dialogues are our answer to that responsibility. They will bring government, academia, traditional authorities, the private sector, development partners, civil society, students, entrepreneurs, repatriates, and the diaspora into the same room to name the obstacles plainly and to design solutions grounded in evidence rather than sentiment. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me be clear about what we mean by repatriation, because the word is often misheard. Repatriation is not a plane ticket. It is belonging, opportunity, enterprise, citizenship, cultural reconnection, and a real state in national development. A person can land at Kotoka and still not have come home. Land tenure, residency, registering a business, the recognition of qualifications earned abroad, the simple question of where a returnee's children go to school. These are the things that decide whether a return home becomes a life. And those who leave these questions must have a voice in sharing the policies that govern them. We will not talk about the diaspora. We will talk with them. A major focus of this initiative is the conversation of brain drain or conversion of brain drain into brain gain. For decades, this continent has watched its brightest walk through airport gates in search of what they could not find at home. Migration is a global reality, and we do not memorialize about it. But we hold a plain conviction. Africa possesses the human and natural resources to create those opportunities here, and a continent that exports its talents and imports the expertise has the equation backwards. One aim is an environment. Our aim is an environment in which a talented young African sees Ghana not as a place to live, but as a place where innovation, enterprise, research, and professional excellence can flourish. The dialogues will serve that aim by building partnerships, attracting investment, encouraging knowledge exchange, and strengthening the ties between this continent and its global family. A central component will be the entrepreneurship, job recruitment, and innovation fair, which will connect students, graduates, job seekers, entrepreneurs, and innovators with employers, investors, and strategic partners. The fair will be open not only to university community, but to the wider public, because opportunities that stops at our gates is opportunity enough. The diaspora comes to this table not as guests, but as partners. Beyond reconnecting with heritage, our kin abroad bring investment, enterprise, mentorship, knowledge transfer, and jobs. And the traffic runs both ways. Ghanaian institutions and businesses gain global partnership, professional networks, and capital. This is not charity in either direction. It is a family and it is a good business. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to be equally clear that these dialogues are designed to produce outcomes, not communiques. Recommendations from every engagement will be documented and placed before the relevant ministries, public institutions, development partners, and private sector organizations to inform policy and institutional reform. We intend to be judged 10 years from now by what changed. No single institution can deliver this. It will take the government, universities, business, traditional authorities, civil society, development partners, the media, the diaspora, and the public. So I invite our corporate partners, public institutions, and development organizations to put their weight behind this initiative, and I urge our students, researchers, and entrepreneurs to seize what this platform will offer. Let us commit ourselves today to opening doors to opportunity, innovation, partnership, and shared prosperity. Let us turn dialogue into action, reconnect this continent with its people, and build something our grandchildren will still be standing on. On behalf of the College of Humanities and the University of Ghana, I thank our partners, our sponsors, the members of the organizing committee, and the faculty, staff, and students whose work has brought us to this morning. Our ancestors walked through the door in one direction only. For 10 years, beginning today, we intend to keep it open in the other. Thank you. May God bless the University of Ghana. May God bless our beloved nation Ghana, and may God bless Africa and the black people throughout the world. Thank you.
And may God bless Dr. Sylvanus Koshikuvo for reading the address of the Provost of the College of Humanities, Mau Nairawo. Ladies and gentlemen, every great movement begins with a compelling vision. Before we hear more from the leaders behind this initiative, it's only fitting that we first experience that vision. And I love this architecture of this hall because we have screens everywhere. I think I counted 5. So there's a screen within eyesight. And I invite all of you to direct your attention to the screen closest to you for the official launch film of the Open Door Dialogues. This is the film that officially unveils the initiative, introduces its purpose and aspirations, and sets the stage for conversations that will unfold throughout today's program. Kindly enjoy the presentation.
What if returning home wasn't simply about coming back? What if it was about building the future? Across the world, thousands are asking the same question. How can I reconnect? How can I contribute? How can I belong? The University of Ghana College of Humanities presents Open Door Dialogues, where ideas become partnerships and dialogue becomes action. Creating opportunities in education, business, investment, innovation, entrepreneurship, and meaningful collaboration for Ghana and the global African community. Together, we're transforming brain drain into Ghana's great brain gain, where talent returns, investment grows, and the future is built together. Join us. Be part of Ghana's next chapter. The door is open.
Indeed, and we're about to step through that door. Ladies and gentlemen, behind every transformative idea is someone courageous enough to imagine a different future and determined enough to make it happen. The vision for the Open Door Dialogues has been championed by a distinguished scholar, linguist, Pan-Africanist, and founder of Ebibitumi, whose lifelong work has focused on restoring African languages, African knowledge systems, and African identity. It's my honor to invite the convener of the Open Door Dialogues to deliver the opening address. Let's welcome Obimfo, Professor Obadele Kambon.
Kafui Akpe. Before I get started, I want to acknowledge some significant guests who we have here in the audience. We have Nanachre Ajamai as the Deputy Director of the Diaspora Affairs Office of the President. If you can stand and be recognized. This was the very first endorsement from the decade of our repatriation. We also have Prof. Kobe Mensah, who's up here with me, from the Ghana Tourism GTDC Development Company. And this was our very second endorsement. He will give some remarks, but I want to recognize him as well. We also have our surveyor Sarah Zida from the Ghana Institution of Surveyors, with whom Decade of Our Repatriation has an MOU. We have Nana Fofi of Achem Abuakwa, a distinguished Nkoso Hema, who is with us here today. I believe we have the ambassador for Cuba present. Stand and be recognized. Thank you. We have my sister, Nataki Kamban, the co-founder of Decade of Our Repatriation. And we also have my wife, Kala Kamban, who's been gracious enough to allow me to spend sleepless nights working on this, wearing the red, black, and green here. His Excellency King Kwesi Che Dakwa will be joining us very soon. There are a lot of protocols that are necessary for him to be able to come through these doors, and we will pause the program when he does come to play the national anthem. So when he does come, everyone please do be sure to rise. We'll continue to recognize those who are in the audience as we continue. We have AAAG, Jamaica Affairs, we will continue to recognize them. His Excellency King Kwesi Che Dakwa is the President's Special Envoy to the Caribbean. Nananom Nime Name, Ambassador Millie Tucker. Consul David Gibbs, the Special Consul for Barbados. Professor Imhotep Alagi Dede, the Bank of Ghana Chair in Economics and Finance. Dr. Sylvanus Kwashi Kuo, Acting Dean of the School of Performing Arts and representative of the Provost of the College of Humanities, whom we've just heard from. Nana Yao Mante of SIC Insurance PLC. This is our very first sponsor, so let's definitely clap for them. More to join. Our featured panelist, Brother Dre Taylor. Amadele Elizabeth Olympio Emmanuel. Brother Calvin Daniels. Our Master of Ceremonies, Kafui Day. Professor Samuel Ntewusu, who I know his time is very tight, but I thank him so much for joining us. This is my own boss at African Studies. Members of the diplomatic community, representatives of government, heads of units, colleagues, students, partners, sponsors, members of the media, distinguished guests. And if there's anyone who I missed, charge it to my head and not to my heart. Abibi Tumi, Abibi Fahodie, Black Power, Black Liberation. Good morning, Mema Mwachi, and Dinami. Today, we are opening a door that must remain open for the next decade. D.O.O.R means the decade of our repatriation, a global initiative spanning 2026 to 2036. Its purpose is to organize and accelerate the repatriation, reconnection, resettlement, and contribution of Black people throughout the historic diaspora, with Ghana serving as a central point of repatriation. D.O.O.R is an umbrella initiative and practical resource hub. We are building a trusted front door through which people can find reliable information, credible institutions, verified service providers, partnerships, and opportunities before they repatriate, while preparing to repatriate and after they arrive. At its core, D.O.O.R is a self-reparations movement in motion, organizing what we can build now through our own institutions, our own skills, our own networks, and our own resources. This does not erase the responsibilities of states, corporations, and other institutions connected to the historic harms committed against Black people through enslavement, kidnapping, and trafficking. However, what it means is that we will continue building while those wider reparative claims remain before the world. D.O.O.R builds upon the cultural visibility generated from earlier return initiatives and commits the entire decade to structured resettlement, employment, enterprise, investment, institutional coordination, and follow-through. This is how repatriation can contribute to Ghana's great brain gain. The decade officially began with the address delivered by His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama on the first day of the Diaspora Summit at the Accra International Conference Center. On the second day, I delivered the articulated launch and explanation of D.O.O.R, setting out what it is, why it is necessary, how it should operate, and what the period from 2026 to 2036 should accomplish. President Mahama opened the decade. On the second day, I explained the door through which we intend to move during that decade. The institutional groundwork began before the summit. The Diaspora Affairs Office of the President described D.O.O.R as, and I quote, a strategic national framework to convert brain drain into brain gain, and a compelling model for responsible, people-centered repatriation. The Ghana Tourism Development Company called it a timely platform to convert this interest into structured engagement and people-centered repatriation. The Ministry of Tourism, Culture, and Creative Arts, who we also have an endorsement from, described it as a program committed to transforming diaspora return into sustainable economic growth through enterprise creation, cultural exchange, tourism expansion, and job creation across Ghana and beyond. These endorsement letters express confidence in the vision and groundwork already completed. Our responsibility now is to convert endorsement into implementation. I must acknowledge those who helped give this initiative an institutional home. I thank the Vice Chancellor, Professor Nana Abba Apia Amfo, who was also my PhD supervisor. She directed me to identify an institutional home capable of giving the initiative the intellectual depth, credibility, and convening capacity required for work of this scale. That guidance led me to the College of Humanities. I expressed my profound appreciation to the Provost, Professor Joseph Awetori Yaro, who championed the initiative within the college, stood firmly behind it, and constituted a stellar committee to transform the vision into an active institutional platform. Through the Provost's office, the college has also sponsored today's refreshments. Let's give a round of applause to them. Professor Amfo and Professor Yaro are attending a university leadership meeting and are unable to join us. Professor Yaro is ably represented by Dr. Sylvanus Kwashi Kuwo, who spoke to us previously. Professor Amfo and Professor Yaro, bedamwasepa. I recognize the members of the College of Humanities Open Door Dialogues Committee. Professor Sheena Lovia Boating, if she's here, she can raise her hand. She may be out taking care of our guests. Professor Fred Maunyo Janku, Professor Daniel Dramani Kipo Sunyezi, Professor Adokale Benedicta Lomote, Dr. Sarah Dogbaji, Dr. Johnson Wilson Apiakubi, and our committee secretary, Mr. Ebi Landry Kanga. I also acknowledge those co-opted to support the committee: Ms. Irene Kukwa Simpson, personal assistant to myself; Ms. Beatrice Boating, Grasag representative; Mr. Roger Mante, SRC representative; Mr. Andrew Amwatin, Professor Benedicta Lomote's representative. I thank each of you for helping to move this initiative from an articulated vision into an active university platform. D.O.O.R operates through 5 connected areas: documenting the needs and obstacles involved in repatriation and resettlement, convening government, traditional leadership, universities, businesses, professionals, Ghanaian communities, and the historic diaspora, developing practical pathways in housing, land, legal processes, employment, enterprise, investment, and post-arrival support, connecting people to credible information and opportunities, and reporting the outcomes. Following the main dialogue and fair on 30th of October, we will publish an initial public outcomes report of our work. The Open Door Dialogues Committee will coordinate that process, record commitments, and identify where follow-up remains outstanding. The Open Door Dialogues are the College of Humanities platform developed in support of this wider initiative. Through them, the university's research, teaching, convening power, and public responsibility meet the practical work of repatriation, employment, enterprise, and national development. Ladies and gentlemen, our process is clear. Dialogue must produce evidence. Evidence must lead to partnerships. Partnerships must open opportunities, and opportunities must produce action. The response from our students shows why the opportunity component matters. Within the first week of launching our Student Interest Forum, we received 234 responses. More than 88% of those students expressed interest in future employment and specific internships, while approximately 97% authorized us to share their information with relevant employers and institutions. These responses account for business analytics, accounting, law, political science, psychology, linguistics, and more. Their responses show supply-side readiness. Students and graduates are prepared to present their skills and pursue practical opportunities. This is why the presence of Brother Dre Taylor, Amadele Elizabeth Olympio Emmanuel, and Calvin Daniels matter. They represent real estate, hospitality, and agribusiness, and demonstrate how repatriation can contribute to production, enterprise, employment, and community growth. Sponsors gain visibility through this initiative. They access talent, and they associate themselves with Ghana's great brain gain, youth opportunity, and enterprise development. The university, college, and faculty demonstrate how research and teaching can respond directly to public need while creating new research, policy, and partnership opportunities. We sincerely thank SIC Insurance PLC and all partners and sponsors who have recognized the value of this platform, including Ghana Tourism Development Company, who has availed themselves through publicity and other means as well. Ghanaian citizens and communities are intended as the primary beneficiaries of Ghana's great brain gain. Repatriation should strengthen local enterprises, create jobs, expand markets, commission services, and develop skills for people already living and building here. The government gains evidence-based recommendations. Traditional leaders provide cultural grounding. The diplomatic community connects Ghana to wider networks. The media gives the work public visibility and helps the public follow whether commitments have truly become action. As I bring my statement to a conclusion, the Entrepreneurship, Job Recruitment, and Innovation Fair on the 30th of October will be open to the general public. That was an idea from consultations with SRC, the Student Representative Council, and GRASAG, the Graduate Students Association. They told us it's one thing for us to bring repatriates here and tell them what they can do and how wonderful Ghana is. It's another thing to match them directly with where they will work when they graduate, and that is what will be happening on October 30th. So our invitation today is specific. We ask employers to identify the internships, vacancies, company visits, job shadowing places, and project assignments they can offer. We ask sponsors to bring resources and long-term commitments. We ask diasporan entrepreneurs to recruit, invest, commission, and build. We ask faculty members to bring research questions and practical solutions. And we ask students and members of the public to come prepared with their CVs, portfolios, skills, enterprises, discipline, and ambition. And if you're interested in getting your job opportunity, you can go to decadeofourrepatriation.com or door.events to sign up for the survey. So we ask the media to cover today's launch and continue following the outcomes. A door only matters when people can pass through it. Today, we are opening a door between repatriation and settlement, between knowledge and action, between students and employers, between entrepreneurs and markets, between faculty research and public need. between Ghana and black people throughout the historic diaspora. Let us keep that door open. Let us build through it. Let us make this decade count. Abibi Tumi, Abibi Fahondie, Black Power, Black Liberation, Madame Wase.
Obinfo, thank you so much for welcoming us and setting the stage for today's conversations. We are really grateful for the vision. Truly inspiring, and it's brought us together this morning. Every bold vision needs committed partners who believe in it enough to bring it to life. We are really grateful to SIC Insurance PLC for supporting this important initiative. It's my pleasure right now to invite the Deputy Head of Corporate Affairs at SIC Insurance PLC. Let's welcome Mr. Edward Bafo.
The head of School of Humanities, Nime Kename Nananum, special invited guests, members of the Diplomatic Corps, distinguished faculty members, alumni members, members of the media, our partners, ladies and gentlemen. Good day to you all. On behalf of the board, management, and staff of SIC Insurance PLC, I am delighted to join you at the launch of the Open Door Dialogue Series. We are honored to support this important initiative of the School of Humanities under the decade of our repatriation, D.O.O.R 2026 to 2036. At SIC Insurance PLC, we believe that national development is driven not only by economic investment, but also by the quality of conversations that shape our collective future. The Open Door Dialogues will create a unique platform where students, scholars, repatriates, members of the African diaspora, entrepreneurs, policymakers, media practitioners, and institutional partners can engage meaningfully on issues that are central to Ghana's long-term development. The themes of repatriation, enterprise, investment, brain gain, institution building, and cultural renewal present tremendous opportunities for our country. Equally, they call for thoughtful planning and effective risk management. As Ghana's leading indigenous insurance company, SIC Insurance PLC recognizes that every journey to live, work, invest, or establish a business must be backed by confidence and security. That is why our support for this initiative goes beyond sponsorship. We see it as an opportunity to contribute, not only in uniting families that have been separated for centuries, but also in creating practical protection pathways for repatriates, diasporans, students, entrepreneurs, professionals, and families who choose Ghana as a place to build their future. Whether through asset protection, enterprise support, event insurance, or broader risk education, SIC Insurance PLC stands ready to play this part in enabling sustainable growth and successful reintegration of our brothers and sisters who wish to come back home. We also commend the organizers for their thought leadership in using today's media launch to introduce this visionary initiative to the nation and to build momentum towards the inaugural Open Door Dialogue in October. We are confident that the conversations and interactions developed in this dialogue between university students, the general public, and inspirational guest speakers will generate ideas, partnerships, and solutions that will benefit Ghana for many years to come. As Ghana has always been a pioneer in Pan-African endeavors, we are proud to be associated with this event, which will receive its due recognition from the African diasporan family across the globe. SIC Insurance PLC is proud to be a sponsor of today's visionary intervention, and it reflects our own commitment to protecting people, supporting enterprise, and contributing to national development. We congratulate the University of Ghana and all partners behind the D.O.O.R dialogues and wish this initiative every success. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Balfour, for supporting this initiative. I'd like to recognize the programs manager with the Presidential Special Envoy for Reparations, Mr. Isaac Obed Sarr, who is here with us. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as you probably well know, tourism is more than travel. It's about heritage, it's about identity, it's about discovery, and it's about connection. All values that lie at the heart of the Open Door Dialogues. Our next speaker leads the Ghana Tourism Development Company, which is an institution that is playing a key role in positioning Ghana as the preferred destination for heritage tourism and diaspora engagement. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Tourism Development Company, Professor Kobi Mensah.
Thank you, King Kaf. I call him King Kaf. He's the king of the airwaves. Thank you so much. Obviously, let me stand on the protocols and firstly thank Cambon for inviting us, Ghana Tourism Development Company. I'm sure that if you're on this campus and you don't know Cambon, it means that perhaps you're not part of the UTAG platform. I remember recently we were taking a roll call about, or roll call on colleagues that are very active on the UTAG platform. And the first name was Cambon. You know, you would never miss his email. Very, very active. Myself and him, we have a relationship, a very deep relationship. His impeccable speaking of tree always shuts me down because he will speak the tree and I'll be mixing that with English. But he will speak throughout. Amazing. A round of applause. When we met at firstly on Legon campus, that is the Legon Hall Senior Common Room, and then in my office. And then we were discussing the issue of D.O.O.R. I think two key things were the concerns of GTDC, the reason why we support this 100%. Firstly, is about our heritage and AI. And I've said it on a number of platforms that we have our brothers and sisters of the diaspora. The need for us to keep our forts and the dungeons in the midst of climate change. The seas are washing away the forts and the dungeons. If you read a history, and I'm not mistaken, we had almost about 80 dotted across the country. Now we have very few. Why are we concerned? And what is the link between our heritage and AI? AI can do anything. Today, I saw a message from ChatGPT saying you can take a photo and edit it. You can remove all the disturbances behind the photo. So you can take a photo at this great hall and perhaps change it to look like you were at the office of the president. That's scary. That means someone can write an AI script and say the slave trade never happened. They can water it down they can remove the forts and the dungeons on the internet. 30, 40, 50 years down the line, you and I would not be there. Our children themselves would doubt whether it happened because AI say it didn't happen. But if we have the physical structures there, at least we can use that as evidence that nobody can actually live comfortably in that dungeon. And so if somebody says, we used to have parties here, I'm sure you will not believe that. But of course, if they give us money and say we should change it to a hotel, that can also serve a different story. Why we need to protect that. So our heritage, part of our heritage, of course, very gloomy sometimes, we don't want to embrace it, but we have to embrace and protect it. And that's why it was fundamental that our president moved that motion. And I was happy. Because at least in the consciousness of the world, it is established that that is the gravest crime against us, humanity. But the president has done his part. What about us? So we support 100% this conversation by the door, and we need to do a lot more. And my concern also, the generations that we are witnessing, our generation and those before us, and I remember 1992 during the Panel Fest, I was in Sekendi Takrady then. At the time, I think I had gone to St. Augustine's College, or I was about to go to St. Augustine's College. We saw those who came with a chartered flight, who kissed the ground and thanked God that they were back to the motherland. We were all tears, we were all in tears, we were all emotional. How about our children and their children who are now fascinated about going to places with skyscrapers, Dubai, Malaysia, etc.? Would they be interested in the heritage conversation? How bothered would they be to talk about slave trade and learning from it? We must be concerned and protect and transfer that knowledge. Not because we glamorize it, as some people say, the McDonaldization of our struggle, when Rawlins's regime was trying to restore the slave castles and the forts. Some people were not happy with it. Others call it the dark tourism. But it's also important, as Bob Marley says, we should know where we're coming from. So we must do a lot to protect them. Our second concern is about the people in country. How many of us appreciate our heritage? How many of us know our positioning in the world? I was fascinated when I went to the Department of Earth Sciences and I engaged Professors Bana Yakubu Asiedu and Yvonne Lowe. 2 hours I couldn't move because of the presentation they were doing. I mean, for me to understand, that's when I had actually taken over the office and I wanted to understand more beyond what we do in the city. The usual ecotourism, the usual leisure tourism, heritage tourism. I said, no, let me understand more. So I went to the Earth Science. And they were talking about our place in the world. Ghana considered as one of the oldest countries. Our positioning as the center of the world. How many of us appreciate that? How many of us understand the impact of the slave trade, for example? Even in the first place, why did they come here the first? And why did we have almost about 80 forts and dungeons? Is that coincidence? No. When we look at the journeys that people undertook, maritime, at the time was one of the prime ways of traveling. And so they couldn't go anywhere until they landed here before they can find other journeys. And that's why they came here. So our positioning as the center of the world is not a narrative that we have just couched. It's true. Go to the earth science and they will tell you. The idea, or it's not even the idea, the practicality that Brazil was just next door to Ghana, it's science, it's there. So why should we go to Brazil through other routes that can take you almost 18 hours, but you can fly from Accra to Brazil just about 5-6 hours down the line? A lot of us don't know that. And we don't know what it means. Most Ghanaians do not appreciate our heritage, our story. I've engaged the Barbados, the Embassy of Barbados. I've engaged the Brazilians. I've engaged so many other Caribbean countries as well. And some of my friends who live there said, Kobe, you can't believe that in Guyana, they call tilapia impetua. Impetua is my local name in Takrady about tilapia. And we've even stopped saying impetua, we call it tilapia, but they still call it impetua. Can you believe that? So for me, Ghana is bigger than what we have. Ghana includes Jamaica, includes Barbados, includes St. Kitts, includes so many other Caribbean countries. Do we appreciate it? Do we understand what it means to be that big? How do we use that for negotiations, for asserting our place in the world? Most Ghanaians don't know that. So yes, we are supporting this conversation because there's a lot that we need to know internally. And then, of course, for our brothers and sisters who come to visit us, on the motherland. And that's why we're supporting this. The door is as emotional as practical for me and for GTDC. And I hope we all support it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Mensah. Before the next speaker, I'd like to bring onto the stage the President's Special Envoy to the Caribbean region. Let's welcome His Excellency King Kwesi Che Dakwa, our special guest of honor. We now move to a series of special addresses from distinguished leaders representing diplomacy, academia, and professional leadership. Their perspectives will enrich our understanding of the opportunities before us as Africa strengthens its engagement with the global African diaspora. Our first speaker is Minister, State Department, State of the African Diaspora. Let's welcome Her Excellency Ambassador Millie Tucker.
Greetings, everyone, to all honorables in the room, to all royalty, to all excellencies, to all honorables. I count it a privilege to be here, to all the kings, the queens, the princesses, I stand before you today as a daughter of the soil of Africa, repatriated back to Ghana and a citizen of Ghana. I like to personally thank Dr. Abadale Kambon for having me here. And you know what they say, behind every great man, there's a great, behind every great man, there's a great. So I acknowledge his wife, Kala, who works so very hard behind the scenes, and I like to give respect. To all our friends and colleagues that came out today, I am Ambassador Millie Tucker of the State Department of the African Diaspora. We're a state without borders. The historic African diaspora represents approximately 350 million people of African descent outside of Africa. 350 million voices, 350 million talents, 350 million reasons for us to work together. The political, economic, and cultural importance of the diaspora is increasingly recognized. It contributes greatly to the development of Africa, and this is why the African Union wanted the diaspora officially part of its proceedings in 2003. At the end of the AU summit, the heads of the states declared, Article 14.3, the African Union decided that the African diaspora as an effective entity contributing to the economic and social development of the continent. But at that time, the diaspora had no institutional reality. In December 2014, the African Union then president asked, his name was Mohammed Ould Abdel Aziz, President in Office of the African Union, gave a mandate to Dr. Louis Georges Tin, the then President of LACRAN, a Pan-African French organization, to give body to the sixth region and to make the diaspora de facto a structure de jure. In 2018, Dr. Louis Georges Tin presented the African Union bodies. A government and the state of the African Union diaspora was formalized at the African Union Summit in Mauritania on July 1st, 2018. We celebrated our 8th anniversary this month. The state of the African diaspora is composed of several institutions. The first is the state government, which I am the state minister, and we have 152 ambassadors under me. The first Council of Ministers and inauguration was held in Abidjan in November 2018. The second institution is the Parliament, which convenes preliminary sessions, debates, and passes legislation. Our first Vice Prime Minister, Honorable Katura Amalko Kandade Queen Hadouken, she's a Minister of Repatriation and Restitution. Our second Vice Prime Minister, Hugh Johnson, the Minister of Agriculture. The state also has a royal chamber, and we also have a university, USOAD, University of the State of African Diaspora. Our international connections. We are not a member of the United Nations by choice. However, we are working with the United Nations on different programs. Our Minister of Home Affairs, appointed in 2022, is on the Human Rights Council Forum of the United Nations. We work with the UN Alliance, the UNASDG, as of 2023. We're part of the Pan-African Parliament, called PAP. As of November 15, 2024, Chief Fortune Chambrubia, President of Parliament of the African Union, PAP, and our Prime Minister, Dr. Louis Georges Tin, signed a MOU under the terms of the State of the African Diaspora, and we are now granted as an observer member status and will be invited to speak at the commencement of each ordinary session, and a permanent office within Parliament, and the two parliaments will keep each other informed of their respective political agendas. This was a great breakthrough because what we need as diaspora, we need a seat at the table. This is what D.O.O.R is promoting. The diaspora comes to Africa and that our voices are heard. In the East African climate, we're part of the Legislative Assembly as of 2025. We're part of CAFRAD as of 2022. We're part of the Executive Committee representing the 6th region. We're part of UNESCO as of February 2023. One of our ambassadors was appointed by UNESCO as Ambassador for the Culture of Peace. We have cooperation agreements with Liberia, Mozambique, Somalia, Minister of Youth Sports Republic in the Gambia as of 2024. We have a mandate from Benin, 2028. Many world treasures will return to the Royal Palace. 34 cultural objects will return to Gabon in June of 2026. And as a part of one of our ambassadors, His Highness Prince Joe Kamami, recovered the skull of King Torera September in 2025, where proper burial rites were given. Many of you don't know that when they came, they killed many of our chiefs and they cut their heads off. They were not giving proper burial rites, and their skulls were actually on display in museums. And this was heartbreaking and not acceptable. So one of our ambassadors fought hard to return this one skull, and we will get more, so our ancestors can have proper burial rites. And this is what our ancestors and our grandstors have called us here to do, to have proper reparations and repatriations. As in closing, SOAT inaugurated its diplomatic mission to Italy and the Holy See under our Honorable Ambassador Emmanuel Moscal this last month, June 25th, 2026, and was acknowledged by Pope Leo XIV in the Vatican News publication. So we were recognized that we have a diplomatic mission in Italy, in the Vatican. This was our 3rd diplomatic mission. Our others are in Canada, led by Ambassador Janet Lumley, and in June 24th, led by Ambassador Anthony Calero, we have diplomatic missions in Malta. Our SOAT Minister of Youth leads international efforts to address the recruitment of African youth at present in the Russia and Ukraine conflict. In closing again, our goal is to strengthen Africa through the diaspora and the diaspora through Africa, cultivating diplomatic and cross-border relationships and unity. Our objectives include fostering relationships between the diaspora and the Africa through diplomacy, promoting and engaging economic and development projects, celebrating our cultural heritage through national holidays, and supporting Africa's social development. We also work closely with the kingdoms for restitution of cultural artifacts. We are a state within the 6th region, built upon peace, unity, and development. On behalf of the State of the African Diaspora, I extend my greetings and to this suspicious gathering. Let us build a brighter future together. And when we close our meetings, in our state meetings, we say Uhuru Africa, Uhuru Diaspora, which means freedom. So can you say that with me? Uhuru Africa, Uhuru Diaspora. We are here to work. It's an honor to be part of D.O.O.R and this great media launch. I thank you. God bless you.
We thank you too, Excellency Ambassador Millie Tucker, for those insightful remarks. Our next speaker is the distinguished economist, academic and policy advisor whose work has significantly shaped conversations on finance, macroeconomic policy, and development across Africa. His research and public engagement continue to influence the next generation of economists and policy leaders. And through his scholarship and service, he's made important contributions to economic thought and national development. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, join me in warmly welcoming the Bank of Ghana Chair in Finance and Economics at the University of Ghana, Professor Imhotep Alagidide.
Thank you very much, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I stand on the protocols already established, and I honor our great ancestors, past, present, and future, for making this day possible. This is a great door that has been opened here at the University of Ghana, and I want to acknowledge my great friend and brother, Binfo Obadele Kambong, for such a wonderful initiative that has been established today. We have been looking for this door for a very long time. A door where we finally bring back home everything that we went out to accumulate, to learn, and to share. And it's a great pleasure to be part of this journey, because we have also been thinking about what else can we do as Africans, both on the continent and in the diaspora. Conservative estimates put the African diaspora alone to around 350 to 400 million people. That's roughly about the size of the West African population. And that's a huge capital when you think about it in terms of development. Here in Ghana, roughly around $6.6 billion came through the diaspora alone in terms of remittances. So it's not surprising that the African Union put the African diaspora as the sixth region of our continent. And this is literally the raw capital. Think of it in terms of heritage, culture, and financial muscle that is readily available, and it's looking for opportunities to make a contribution. The only thing that was left was a door to walk through. And we are grateful that this door has been opened in this very moment through the decade of our repatriation. We have started a series of discussions looking at what the African contribution to the planet, the whole galaxy is. And it's staggering when you think about it in terms of quantities. We have looked at the contribution of Africa to the civilizations of the world. And through our vehicles, from the Nile Valley to the Volta Valley, we have created a mass of intellectual capital that is ready for exploitation and utilization. And it is through this door that those initiatives can be formalized and utilized for the benefit of the country and for the entire African community. We have been talking about resetting the country, resetting the continent, and resetting the entire African psyche. And through the processes at the United Nations, those conversations have brought us to a pivotal point where we can now amass all the resources together to make this happen in real time. So from my own network, I am happy to announce that we will be actively participating and supporting this open door initiative, especially through the dialogues that are coming up. We started a series of lectures at the University of Ghana here, looking at the new thinking in economics. We call it simply metanomics, where we study abundance rather than scarcity, because that's the African experience. Our experience is that we are wealthy people, highly resourced, intelligent, and we are beginning to bring all of this knowledge together so that we begin to see ourselves as the originators of the different systems of civilizations that we see around us. And through this open door initiative, my particular network is open to supporting the intellectual activities through research, cutting-edge finance, new and alternative ways of mobilizing resources, and directing them specifically to ventures that will create decent and sustainable jobs, not just for the current generation, but for the future generation that is staring at us. So it's a great honor and pleasure to be part of this very wonderful initiative. And I know that as our ancestors who are now here as us, we will remember everything that we created in the Nile Valley through the Sahel and to our present location. And we will be able to bring together all that is needed to catapult our development to the next stage. The African is fully awake now. There's no going back to the era of the slave trade and the exploitation of our labor through the various channels. This is the time that we remember ourselves as the great people that we have always been. We are the generation that will take the entire continent to the next level of our evolution. Yes, we have the digital world with us, but we shouldn't forget we had the ancestral intelligence before the artificial intelligence. And at this very moment, it is the collaboration of the technology in the digital world and in the ancestral world that will bring us the qualitative development that is needed to walk through this very door that has been opened. So we have a lot of initiatives. Obinfo, you are already familiar with the National Association of Traditionalists and Ancestral Venerators. In our own network, we have the Institute of Indigenous Intelligence. Through the Journal of Indigenous and Shamanic Studies, we want to help to promote the activities that Obinfo Obadele and his team have set in motion. I see this decade as a decade that will really open up the African psyche to the great opportunities that lie within the continent, so that we don't look outside for capital when we are thinking about development, so that we don't look outside ourselves when we think of real knowledge and qualitative intelligence that propel civilizations and nations forward. So my dear brothers and sisters, it's a great honor and pleasure to be part of this very grand moment. And I believe and know that this door that has been opened will provide the opportunities for all of us to walk through with all the talents and the intelligences that we have, so that we'll propel the nation, the continent, and the entire race to a higher level of civilization and development. I honor all of you.
So I'm sure you are reminded by the good professor that before AI, there was AI. Ancestral intelligence, artificial intelligence. Who came first? You know. Thank you very much, Professor Imhotep Alagidide, for your insightful remarks and for bringing your perspective as Bank of Ghana Chair in Finance and Economics at this great university to this important conversation. We now turn from the economic dimensions of Africa, Caribbean, and diaspora engagement to the diplomatic relationships that can help translate shared history and common aspirations into practical cooperation. Our next speaker is First Secretary of the Barbados High Commission in Accra, Ghana. Let's welcome Mr. David Gibbs with a big round of applause.
Thank you. Honorable ministers, government officials, members of the diplomatic corps, officials of the University of Ghana, distinguished guests, traditional leaders, representatives of the media, members of the African diaspora, ladies and gentlemen. It is both an honor and a privilege to join you for the launch of the Open Door initiative. As you understand it, this initiative emphasizes that we must have a vision which extends beyond conferences and conversations to the creation of lasting relationships, meaningful opportunities, and a shared future for people of the African diaspora of African descent around the world. I wish to commend the organizers of the Decade of our Repatriation initiative for bringing together governments, institutions, businesses, academia, youth leaders, and members of the global African family around a common purpose. Your work reminds us that history does not merely shape us, it also beckons us to action. The relationship between Guyana and Barbados, and indeed the Caribbean, is one rooted in more than diplomacy. It is grounded in shared heritage, common aspirations, and an enduring commitment to Pan-African cooperation. For centuries, the Atlantic Ocean represents separation for millions of Africans whose descendants helped build societies throughout the Caribbean. Today, that same ocean has become a bridge of reconnection, of reconciliation, and of renewed partnership. The Caribbean occupies a unique and historic place within the global African family. Our people carry the resilience, creativity, faith, and determination of our African ancestors. Through generations, despite unimaginable hardship, we have preserved the traditions, the values, the cultural expressions that continue to define Barbadian identity. Likewise, Guyana has emerged as a beacon for the African diaspora through visionary initiatives encouraging descendants of Africa to connect with the continent. Guyana has demonstrated that the journey home is not merely symbolic, it is practical and it is transformative. And so this Open Door initiative builds upon this foundation by asking an important question. How do we transform this historical reconnection into a sustainable partnership that benefits both Africa and the diaspora? That is precisely the conversation that we need. Repatriation should never be understood solely in terms of relocation. For some, repatriation may indeed mean establishing a permanent home in Africa. For others, it means investing in African businesses, collaborating with African universities, participating in cultural exchanges, supporting entrepreneurship, engaging in research, or contributing expertise gained in the diaspora. In other words, to put it very simply, the essence of repatriation is not merely relocation, it is contribution. And the question we must ask is, how can they contribute to the development of the African continent? This broader understanding opens opportunities for everyone. Young professionals can build careers across borders. Entrepreneurs can expand markets. Artists can collaborate creatively. Researchers can innovate together. Students can study and exchange ideas and become ambassadors for deeper understanding between our regions. And so economic empowerment is one of the most meaningful expressions of Pan-African cooperation. It allows our people not only to celebrate a shared heritage, but to build a shared prosperity. Young people deserve particular attention within this dialogue. the future of Africa-Caribbean relations belong to the youth. We all know the statistics that Africa has the world's largest youth population and growing. And so, yes, dialogue is essential. Dialogue is essential, but dialogue must lead to measurable outcomes. It must not just be a talk shop, it must lead to measurable outcomes. Those two words, contribution and prosperity. Let us use these discussions, therefore, to establish new educational partnerships, to encourage reciprocal investment, to facilitate business exchanges, to strengthen tourism cooperation, to promote cultural diplomacy, to support youth entrepreneurship, to advance research and innovation, to create practical frameworks that make reconnection meaningful for future generations. Partnerships succeed when they produce tangible results for ordinary people, and that should remain our collective objective. History has brought us together. Shared heritage has reminded us who we are. Now, a shared purpose must determine that we collaborate and we contribute. I wish to congratulate everyone involved in bringing this open door dialogue to life, and I wish this important initiative every success. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. David Gibbs, for those thoughtful remarks and for reaffirming the enduring bonds between Barbados, Ghana, and the wider African diaspora. We also welcome the Provost of the College of Humanities, University of Ghana, Professor Joseph Yarrow. And for those of you who are the eagle-eyed ones amongst us, Barbados left and Provost replaced him. Ladies and gentlemen, we now come to the keynote address of today's program. Our keynote speaker is a man whose career has been defined by influence, communication, and bridge building. Today, he serves our nation as the President's Special Envoy to the Caribbean region, where he's entrusted with strengthening diplomatic, cultural, and economic ties between Ghana and the nations of the Caribbean region. In that role, he champions investment, trade, cultural diplomacy, and strategic partnerships that deepen the historic bonds between Africa and its diaspora while creating new opportunities for shared prosperity. Long before this distinguished appointment, he had already established himself as one of Ghana's most recognizable public figures. His career has spanned media, investment promotion, branding, and strategic communications, with leadership roles at the Class Media Group, the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, and the Finance Media, Brands, and Culture Limited. To many, he's simply 3 letters, KKD, an iconic broadcaster, culture curator, event host, and speech writer whose voice, whose vision, and whose passion have helped to shape Ghana's creative and media landscape for decades. Respected for his eloquence, his ability to inspire, and his gift for bringing people together, he continues to advance Ghana's influence on the global stage through goodwill, collaboration, and cultural exchange. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my singular honor to invite to deliver the keynote address our special guest of honor, the President's Special Envoy to the Caribbean region, His Excellency King Kwesi Che Dakwa. Your Excellency, the stage is yours.
Thank you. You want to put it? Sure. Having worked in cultural diplomacy for so many years, like my dear brother Kafui Day, who himself was raised by diplomats, I find it worrisome when I walk into a space where we have a gathering of a conversation and people leave seats in front of them and go and sit in the back. May I ask you very kindly to move and fill the seats in front of you, those in the back? Let's move and fill the seats in front of us, please. The gentleman in the back, can we move and fill the seats in front of us, please? Thank you. We're one people. We must sit together, work together, and help to also give beautiful optics to the organizers of this program, because it is better for all of us to congregate in the front spaces and leave the back spaces for those who turn up late. Thank you. Your Excellencies, my dear sister, Ambassador Millie Tucker, my good brother, Professor Joseph Yarrow, Provost of the College of Humanities, members of the diplomatic community, representatives of government, Acting Dean of the School of Performing Arts, Dr. Sylvanus Kwashi Kuwo, Nana Yaumanti of SIC Insurance PLC, our sponsors. Our featured panelists, Dre Taylor, Omadele, Elizabeth Olympio Emmanuel, and Calvin Daniels. Students, partners, sponsors, members of the media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I stand before you today as a bridge between two shores that share one heartbeat. I stand as evidence of the fact that the Middle Passage, which was meant to divide us forever, may have broken us, may have had some of our ancestors jump to their untimely death. But I stand here as the resilience. When I meet my brothers and sisters in the Caribbean, when we hug each other and speak kind words to one another and sing the songs of Kojo Entry and Bob Marley and Stonebwoy and Shatta Wale and Harry Belafonte and all the great artists before us, that the door that was meant to separate us, the ocean that was meant to divide us, has now come back to bring us back together again. And for this we say thank you, God Almighty. As a humble servant of Ghana and His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, serving as special envoy to the Caribbean region, I bring you warm greetings from our visionary, compassionate, and humble president and visionary African leader. Today, the vision continues, and it continues in the dimension of D.O.O.R, and the Caribbean and diasporan connection. We gather here in this great hall of the University of Ghana at the invitation of my dear brother Obimfo Obadele Kambon to launch the Open Door Dialogues, the vital cornerstone of our decade of our reparation, of our repatriation. I've been working on reparations for so long that it's always on my mind now. For too long, the return of our people has been a whispered dream. Today, through visionary platforms like this, we transform dreams into practical, enduring pathways for return and a hearty Akwaba, cohesion, community, enterprise, and institutional growth for our collective prosperity. With candid reflection on the journey and the inhumane parting of ways of our ancestors, we have spoken of repatriation with spirited and profound eagerness. Yet, we have walked the path with the tortoise's acceleration. Today, we must cast away hesitation. We are here to poke, to instigate, to remind, and to motivate both our leadership and our citizens alike to unite in bold action and to transform our ancestral longing into undeniable reality. To paraphrase Malcolm X, if a hen lays eggs while trapped in an oven, the hatched are not biscuits. They are still chickens. So wherever your great-grandparents toiled and built, wherever your mothers gave birth, if that hen laid an egg in a distant land under brutalization or in peace and prosperity, the offspring is still a chicken, not a biscuit. Every African everywhere has a home in Africa. To quote the lyrics of Peter Tosh, no matter where you come from, as long as you're a black man, you're an African. Beautiful Africa, rich in humanity, culture, and resources, not least of which is the talents and capabilities of our teeming youth, yearns for the children, the children's children, and generations after of the brothers and sisters of our great-grandparents. What a joyful song our hearts will sing when finally the tribes of Ghana welcome you all home to Africa. And that welcome is imminent, but it will not happen without purposeful, intentional, conscious, and sustained work, not just by the speakers on stage, but by every one of you who whispers a word into the mind and heart of an African leader, an African citizen, and any brother, be they abroad or here, who looks at the other as though they are living in harmony and prosperity, and those in Africa are suffering. Not true. We all have suffered. It's time for us to work together, to build together. We must come together, not as visitors on short trips who come here for December to remember, to dance our problems away and go back to the rat race in the cold of lands that our ancestors built. We must come together, not as starry-eyed tourists and not as skin folk, coerced, conditioned, and converted with the values of the very deceivers and oppressors who tore the skins and broke the hearts and backs of our ancestors, but as long-lost family members, stolen from one another. Brothers and sisters who belong to us as we belong to them. as we to one another are our brother's keeper. If we deeply desire for our kinsmen scattered across the globe to feel the welcome coming back home, and they want to live and work and prosper in the land of their forebears that treats them with humanity, and where they too are celebrated, not merely tolerated, permit me to ask and task participants, discussants, parliamentarians, panelists, and commentators this simple question. What are the key steps our citizens in Ghana and Africa and our leadership in Ghana and Africa must take? Write these down with clarity. This is not a matter of protest. This is a matter of lobbying for what our hearts truly desire. Write this down with clarity. What are the key steps that our citizens and our leadership in Ghana and Africa must take for this dream of repatriation to come true? And I remind you, this is not a matter of protest. This is a matter of lobbying. This is your home. You are coming back home. You are not fighting with your brothers and sisters who are inviting you back home. For if we take that approach that we should have used with our slave masters, with our own brothers and sisters, we shall fail. For every desire, man must first tire. For every price, we must be willing to make a sacrifice. What sacrifices are those already at home and those desirous of coming home willing to make for the dignity, peace, and prosperity of Africa and our young? These are the questions that must be answered with candor, devoid of populism, oversimplification, or overpromising that often characterizes politics at all levels. The repatriation we speak of today has come a long way from the dreams of the Back to Africa movement of the 19th and 20th centuries, advocating for a return of descendants of African American enslaved people to most regions of the African continent. And I say most regions because we must be minded that Africa is not one country. It's 54 different nations, not formed by the people that inhabited the land, but young men elsewhere that sat at a table and divided the continent to get resources to go and build their own homelands. So we must have an approach that appeals not just to the man with vision, compassion, and humility who has stated with clarity that he wants to say to all Africans everywhere, welcome to Ghana. We must use an approach that appeals to the conscience of every African leader in every one of the 54 African nations, as well as the nations of the Caribbean, to say, we miss our brothers, we want our brothers back, and yes, they want us too. It is time for us to act. So this is a cautionary tale to my brothers and sisters. There are things we battle for with swords and knives and gunpowder. And there are things we battle for with wisdom and oratory and persuasion. I think this fight is one for the latter, not the former. The Jamaican political activist and black nationalist Marcus Garvey, members of the Rastafari movement, and other African Americans spoke in support of the concept of African Americans coming back home to the motherland. But few actually left the United States. Some might say the fear of the unknown was more crippling for them than the inhumanity they endured in the lands of Jim Crow and lynching, or perhaps the lack of the wherewithal to fund the trip. Those fears, for some, still remain. And here, permit me to quote a man whose lines I was very proud to use on radio when I started working on radio and television at the age of 19, many, many years ago. If you have no confidence in self, you are twice defeated in the race of life. With confidence, you have won even before you have started. Marcus Garvey. For many years, many of our own lost their confidence because of the brutality and the disrespect of those in whose lands we worked to build. But this must change because confidence is born within you. You must nurture it and you must grow it. Whether you're born in a palace or born in a street corner, you will find that wherever you go, some of the most deprived, some of the people with the least, have confidence even more than the wealthy. And I entreat you all to build that confidence in our children and make them understand that nobody is greater than them. For if you cut any man everywhere in the world, the blood that flows is neither green nor blue. It's all red. And in a world where the greatest mind on sickle cell anemia for many years worked in England, but carried the name of Konate Aholu, a Ghanaian. In a land where the greatest boxer in the world, when we come talk of strength and skill, was a black American who whipped people who were less gifted in melanin as though they were little toys. In a land where it is coming to light now that possibly the smartest president that you may have ever had in the United States of America may just be Barack Hussein Obama, no African child has any reason not to be confident. The words of Marcus Garvey also remind us. For he said, and I quote, "I have no desire to take all black people back to Africa. There are blacks who are no good here, and likewise won't be no good there." End of quote. These words must not discourage our brothers and sisters in the diaspora. They must encourage them to be good, law-abiding citizens for those are whom we want to embrace at home. For if you travel to somebody else's country, there are only two cardinal things you can learn. Wherever you go, if what pertains there is better than your country, you learn and make your country better when you come back home. And if it is worse than your country, you learn to yearn and stay at home. For all who speak eagerly about repatriation, I must say, in my conversations with my black American friends, in my conversations with my black British friends, in my conversations as I travel all over the world, something very interesting comes up, and I must share it with you. They say, yes, many of us speak eagerly of coming back home to Africa, but there is a considerable fraction that only love the cold comfort of words, not the deep and pressing desire to leave behind the familiar glitter and convenience that they have gotten used to in Europe and America. True or false? I want to hear you. True or false? Plausibly, there must be a few who may not be enthused by the investment that my dear brother Obadele Kambon and like minds like his are making. There must be a few who are not enthused by the investment that they too themselves must make to live in what the world may call a less developed country, even if it brings them peace, calm, kinship, and inner happiness. There is a trade to make. You can buy 70 different types of breakfast cereal on the shelves every morning in America or Europe or wherever you find all the conveniences of the world, or you can choose from wache, fried plantain and beans, kenke and fish, and a few other delicacies from the 16 regions of Ghana, many of which you will find at Jam Rock restaurant that makes some of the best food in Accra today. It's your choice to make. You can jump whenever you hear your alarm ring if you live abroad and run to work and confront a supervisor who still speaks to you as though they were a slave master. Or you can set up a small enterprise in Ghana and make modest earnings that will give you the basic necessities of life: food, clothing, shelter, and a sense of belonging. And I say this because I speak to my brothers abroad, many of whom I spoke to before I moved home to Ghana, who said, King, as for me, after living 20 years in America, after living 20 years in Europe, there is no way I can go back to Africa and start all over again. So the rat race continues for them. And they don't realize that over here, you may not have a lot of money in the bank, but you get up every morning looking at people who look like you, basking in the glory of the sunshine because of your rich melanin, smiling at people who have less than you, and they smiling back because they want nothing from you. And that, for me, is peace and prosperity. Whether this fear of repatriation is a matter with some underpinning in the evidence from 1787, when the British Crown founded a settlement in Sierra Leone in what was called the Province of Freedom, beginning a long process of settlement for formerly enslaved African Americans in Sierra Leone, we must sit back and interrogate the constructs. During the same year, some African Americans launched their own initiatives to return to Africa. By 1811, Paul Coffey, a wealthy New England African American Native American shipper, had transported some members of the group known as the Free African Society to Liberia. It saddens me to say that around this time, some free African Americans also relocated to Haiti, and it was not easy, but they persisted. For a slave revolution had effected a free black state by the year 1800. Think of it. Slaves, suffering, brutalized, killed, recognized that we need to leave this construct that oppresses us in 1800. And in 2026, we have a set of new slaves who say living under the oppressor is cold comfort. It is better than living amongst my brothers and sisters. So we continue to slave, to build other people's lands, to build their technologies, to build their knowledge systems, to publish books that work for their society, to create products that work for their society. And then when we come back to Africa, we say, oh, the roads are not paved. We pay the taxes, but the hospitals are not perfect. Who should perfect the hospitals for you to come on holiday and return? Haiti became the first nation ever to successfully gain independence through a slave revolt. In the following years, Liberia was founded by free Africans from the United States. The emigration of African Americans, both free and recently emancipated, was funded and organized, and listen to this, funded and organized by the American Colonization Society, which hoped that slavery could be ended as an institution, but without releasing millions of former slaves into American society. They wanted our labor, but they wanted us to have no favor. This is the truth of history. The mortality rate of these settlers were high. Of the 4,571 immigrants who arrived in Liberia between 1820 and 1843, only 1,819 survived. What were they armed with to go to Liberia? Medications? Hospitals? Polyclinics? After over 300 years of your forefathers toiling for free, for no pay, for being brutalized, you're sent to a distant land. Of course, on the continent from where your ancestors came. But with what? And for what reason? We must teach our children to trust but verify. Question everything. They crossed the bitter waters. I wrote this morning. They crossed the bitter waters, chasing a ghost called freedom. From the shores of Sierra Leone to the bleeding heart of Haiti, they sought a dirt they could finally call home. Some followed the sails of Paul Coffey. Others built a fragile Liberia, funded by a nation that wanted them gone, but could not bear to see them equal. But freedom demanded a cruel price. The soil they longed to hold became the soil that held their dead and buried bodies. Of the thousands who arrived on Liberia's shores, more than half were swallowed by the earth, leaving only whispers of a homeland they died to find. White writers did not often discuss the question of where free black people of American birth should reside. As in the 18th century, there had been few free blacks anywhere in the country. In 1776, slavery was legal everywhere in the 13 colonies that became the United States through the American Revolutionary War. There was a small number of free black people, a very small number indeed. And most of those who showed they could read were murdered. Most of those who were so attractive that the white man's master chased after them were murdered. Most of those who were skillful and so wanted to be set free that they too could have a piece of land and a meal were murdered. Pressures for ending slavery began, but steadily increased. Various philosophical and religious condemnations of slavery were published, especially by the Quakers. But be not fooled. Be not fooled. The hard economic fact remained that mechanization was replacing the large numbers of slaves previously required. There was now machinery to do the labor of 1,000 men. So all you needed was 10 men to operate the machinery. Slavery did not end because of the conscience and goodness and beauty of the hearts of the oppressor and his children and his children's children and his wives and mistresses who benefited from the labor of our ancestors for centuries. A few poorly paid workers could now man machines to produce much more than hundreds of slaves could. That is why slavery ended. Question everything. It was not a sign of benevolence. And when slavery ended, you would think that the people who were abused, the people who were used, humiliated, castigated, would be paid compensation. No. Nations rather went to their banks and took money to pay the slave owners for losing their property. Imagine your great-grandmother being called property by somebody whose children you did better than in education and now do better than in career. This is what happened. So when we talk of repatriation, it is important for us to understand the history behind it. And that is why I took time to tell you the history that many of you already know, but that many of our children do not. Because even the sellouts amongst us who wrote our history books refused to publish these truths. We need a new historian like Dr. Chief Yao Anoche Frimpong in Ghana, who is bold, who is courageous, and who is willing to tell the truth. Special announcement. Economics drove the abolition of slavery, not ethics, not morality. Candid commentators of the era noted after all these years of sweat and toil to sow and harvest their food, build other people's infrastructure, our grandmothers nursing their babies and keeping their homes running, that the slave owners did not want the people from Africa to live among them. It saddens me that today this still happens in many communities in the West. They and their ancestors had used and abused and never paid for the labor of slaves, and now they sought to ship our forebears off to any place far away from them in the hope that they would perish. But no, we overcame. We survived. We shall overcome someday. Whenever I hear Black Americans sing that song, something wells up in my heart. Tears well up in my eyes. And I ask myself, when is that someday? And what will make us know that that someday has come? Whenever you think of repatriation, remember Liberia. Remember Sierra Leone. Remember Haiti. In our drive for repatriation occasioned by the desire of the unkind and untitled in the lands our forebears toiled to build, fight for, and protect on pain of ghastly death, reflect on this. We have earned the right to occupy dignified space wherever our grandfathers worked to build, wherever our grandfathers and our grandmothers were to protect and feed the people and their children and their animals, wherever they were not paid for their labor. We have earned the right to occupy that space. We have earned that right. For any man who works must earn his remuneration. And if they don't get their remuneration, they must demand for it. And that is why I applaud President John Dramani Mahama, and I doff my kufi with respect to this kind, compassionate human being and leader with courage for standing up and going to the United Nations and asking that the chattel slavery of your great-grandfathers and great-grandmothers and mine must be made the gravest crime against humanity. Thank you, President Mahama. Thank you, President Mahama. For many have come before you. Everyone has done their bit. But you, like Kwame Nkrumah, are a true patriot. May God bless you and your children and your children's children. Our thoughtful president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, presents a pathway with the loyal support of my dear brother, Honorable Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, MP and Minister for Foreign Affairs, Honorable Mohammed Mubarak Muntaka, MP and Minister for the Interior, and Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim, Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy, and Religious Affairs. That pathway, in addition to calling all our brothers and sisters to come home, is citizenship for our long-lost family abroad. Must genealogy matter in this matter? This is for us to deliberate on and present robust, relevant, humane, and persuasive points, not just sentiment, but unassailable argument to back our thoughts. Let's focus on the desired outcome with consideration for the sovereignty, security, peace, and safety of the country that has opened its arms to say, let all our children come home. And let's have these deliberations with consideration and humility. Welcome home for sure, for family with integrity and security. And now I want to speak briefly about the e-visa, because they say once you work for the president, you look at the good work he has done and you project it that others may know about it. E-visa, welcoming not only our brothers and sisters in the diaspora, but welcoming the world. The first African nation south of the Sahara to gain independence has learned plenty over the years. It is better to live in harmony with others for prosperity than to survive in isolation. In an interconnected world of one human race, not two. There is only one human race. There is no black race and white race. Only one human race. We choose to welcome the world to Ghana, the gateway to Africa. We welcome all law-abiding people of every culture, color, or creed for connection and friendship, for investment, business, and treasure, for culture, leisure, and pleasure. For this purpose, traveling to Ghana has been made easier since the launch of e-visa on 25th May this year. So if you are the son or daughter of an African who has a friend or co-worker everywhere in the world who loves Africa and wants to come visit Africa, the e-visa portal is open. You go there and you can get your visa. With Ghana's e-visa system, nationals for African countries can travel to Ghana for tourism or business free of charge. You are still required to obtain a free electronic travel authorization. You get this online before your trip. Don't get to the airport before you fill that form. All nationals from around the world can click and apply for theirs too. And it is important that you apply before you come, because whilst the doors are open, those who are troublemakers are not welcome. For those who will deal drugs where they are today will more probably than not deal drugs if we welcome them here. Unfortunately, the psychologists say you judge future behavior from past behavior. So unless there is proven change in people's character, it will be unwise for Ghana to say, because we want to welcome the entire world to Ghana, everybody is free to come. That would be unwise. The free visa for all sons and daughters of Africa is going on as we speak. Now, the e-visa fee for other international travelers is set at an internationally competitive sum of only $260. Sons and daughters of Africa everywhere can benefit from President Mahama's Welcome Initiative using your African passports. With dual nationalities abounding since many determined to reconnect with your roots, the initiative is a mighty welcome one for numerous investors and tourists alike. And now to a matter on the heart of President John Dramani Mahama, the intersection. The intersection of repatriation, championed by my dear brother Obimfo Obadele Kambon. And that intersection also of reparations, championed by President John Dramani Mahama himself and supported by his Minister for Foreign Affairs, Sam Okujato Ablakwa, and his ministry. And all of us appointed as special envoys, myself as the President's special envoy to the Caribbean region, my dear big brother, His Excellency Eko Spiogabra, the President's special envoy for reparations, and all other envoys around the world. This intersection of enterprise, championed by our Minister for Trade and Industry and GIPC, that works religiously to attract foreign direct investment and also encourage local investment in Ghana. An institutional transformation championed by every corporate leader and thought leader in Ghana. This intersection is incredibly vital right now. It is the framework for a shared, prosperous future. We must reconnect African communities, demand historical justice, build independent economic power, and overhaul the outdated systems that hold our people back. Esteemed delegates and fellow advocates, today we stand at a powerful crossroads in our shared history. Across Africa, the Caribbean, and the global diaspora, the legacy of chattel slavery and colonization left deep scars. But let's set that aside for a moment and let's focus on what we need to do for this repatriation to happen, for the reparations to happen, for the unity of Africans at home and in the diaspora to happen, that we may work together for our shared prosperity. In ending, I want to say repatriation goes beyond traveling and coming home to Ghana or any of the other countries of Africa. Repatriation is questioning our own character before the decision to even move. Will this character help build a better culture? Asking ourselves what we can add to the community we now seek to reconnect with your ancestral home that you now seek to come back to. In the same way as repatriation goes beyond just traveling, landing here and finding a place to lay your head and finding a way to win your bread, so too, reparations go beyond apologies. They represent reparatory justice for centuries of extraction and systemic inequality. We seek fair systems. This includes debt cancellation, climate finances, structural reform. Enterprise must turn this justice into actionable economic power. We must support black-owned businesses at home and abroad, foster trade between Africa and the Caribbean and the Americas and Europe and every place where an African works in an enterprise, and control our own supply chains. Enterprise must build generational wealth and self-reliance. Institutional transformation must ensure that our new path lasts. It requires changing global finance. It requires understanding the needs of our people at home and those who seek to join us at home. It requires studying the patterns that have challenged us for centuries to date and finding remedies for these patterns. It requires global laws and governance that our lawyers, our scholars will push an agenda of ensuring equity for every African everywhere. We must tear down outdated systems that still limit our future and build equitable ones in their place. When combined, these four pillars I have stated empower us to shape a better destiny at home. in Africa, in the Caribbean, or someplace in the diaspora, we can start today to use this here momentum to create lasting change. For this global initiative, the decade of our repatriation, to organize and accelerate the return, the reconnection, the settlement, and the institutional and mindset contribution of Black people for Black excellence throughout the historic diaspora. Let us begin by being truthful firstly with ourselves and then with our brother. Truth may hurt, but it heals. Ghanaians know I'm one who is never shy of telling the truth. Wherever you are, if you're in power and you do wrong and nobody will say it, you'll find King Kwesi Cheidakwa wear his traditional garb and come on TV and tell the truth to the nation. That the thieves who want to lead may be set aside, and the wise, truthful, humble, and honest who want to serve may be chosen to lead. For when the wise and truthful lead, even the poor have cold comfort. Let all determine to speak truth with the necessary candor, devoid of the semantics, diversions, and deflections that often accompany the lofty intellectual complication-fraught conversations and the sweet-sounding psychological romance with no follow-up action. Let's speak the truth. I entreat all our participants to make this dialogue a platform of truth, spoken first with humanity and integrity and with harmony in mind. We come here not to fight. We come here to join our minds and thoughts that we may build a future for the outcomes we collectively desire. Let us be considerate of and love one another. The journey is rough and painful. The stories of the journey are best told by those who have traveled and come back again, not those who went and never came to tell the story. Never forget, from the freedom on fertile lands and in communities, into shackles on necks and arms and manacles on ankles, from long and hard journeys on foot, on pain of gunshots and ghastly death, to the dungeons beneath forts and castles, from the inhumane conditions in the dungeons to the prodding and antagonizing on those solemn marches in chains from the door of no return, to the horrific journey on slave ships and the Middle Passage to the Caribbean, the Americans, and nations bent on dehumanization and acquisition of slave labor for free on the other side of the pond. Families torn apart with no idea if we would ever hear from or see each other again. Titi Wobika, history has much to say. And the windmills of Asasiya Blue family here again. What can I, an humble servant of Ghana who loves every melanin-rich son and daughter everywhere in the world, but say these words, that I entreat you all to first please rise. All of us, please rise and hold hands. Please rise and hold hands in unity. And in this moment of silence, let us remember the great flood of tears that we've cried for our brothers and sisters who have died over 400 years, have washed away our fears. And now we rise to turn back the tide. And as we hold hands, please repeat after me. Akwaba, welcome home. Thank you.
Masterfully done by His Excellency King Kwesi Chedakwa, Special Guest of Honor, and the President's Special Envoy to the Caribbean region. Thank you. Kindly take your seats. Thank you, Excellency, for that inspiring keynote address. And ladies and gentlemen, ideas are often expressed through words, but sometimes movement speaks where words cannot. And our next presentation does just that. We now invite you, before the dialogues, to experience a specially curated choreo poem and pop dance performance celebrating identity, heritage, resilience, and the enduring connection between Africa and its global diaspora. This performance is a creative collaboration conceived by Dr. Kofi Antonio and Dr. Sarah Dogbaji. It's brought to life by the immensely talented students of the Department of Dance Studies, School of Performing Arts, University of Ghana. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy this captivating performance. Ladies and gentlemen, the Department of Dance Studies.
D.O.O.R. Decade of our repatriation. Say it slow, let it land. This is not another conference with lanyards and lukewarm coffee. This is Ghana calling her children home. Students, repatriates, investors, dreamers, all walking towards the same great hall, under the same sky we have watched change for over 100 years. Conversations, opportunities, ownership, repatriation. 4 words holding up a whole nation's ambition. Look at their faces in that picture. Not posed, alive. Books under one arm, a tablet in one hand, eyes already gazing into the future. That is what Ghana is open looks like. Not a slogan, a posture. Engage, empower, explore, build. 4 verbs doing the work of 1,000 promises. Leaders and change makers shaking hands in the same room where a student pitches her first idea, and somebody's uncle in the diaspora finally says, maybe it's time. So when they say the future is ours, believe it. Not because it's easy, but because the door is already open, and a Ghanaian somewhere in the world is finally walking through it.
Come step inside, oh yeah, oh yeah. Your door open wide, over again. Black star light, come on, now this your time. Doors open, now this your time, now this your time, this your time. Doors wide open, come step inside, now this your time, this your time. Aquaba, aquaba. Come step inside, oh yeah, oh yeah. The door open wide, oh back, oh back. Black star line, come home now this your time. Doors open now this your time, this your time, this your time. Doors wide open, come step inside, now this your time, this your time. Come home now this your time, this your time, this your time. Doors wide open, come step inside, now this your time, this your time. Doors wide open, this your time. Come to our homes, but the link no die. Try to break us down, but the vibes still fly. Everywhere you touch, you they multiply. The bounce they show, say we still they tight. Don't go hide their place, but this blocks is on. Years gone past, but your mind still strong. Try to fall you, think we build this home. Black star up and the work's begun. Your time, your move. Drop your gear, your reach, your coins. Come stretch that head. World they take, but the car don't play. It's the great brain game on my next 10 years. Aquaba, aquaba. Come step inside, the war is up, war is up. Door don't open wide, oh back, oh back. Black star line, come home now this your time. Doors open now this your time, now this your time, this your time. Doors wide open, come step inside, now this your time, this your time. Come on now this your time, now this your time, this your time. Doors wide open, come step inside, now this your time, this your time. Doors wide open, this your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Department of Dance Studies. The next piece is Fume Fume. Fume Fume is a special piece for us for this occasion because the creator of this piece passed on just last week. Mustafa Tete Ade created this piece, and we believe strongly now that he has been buried, we believe that his soul is resting in the blissful abode of the Creator. So we want to use this piece to celebrate his legacy. Fume Fume, relax and enjoy.
Many, many, many thanks. Department of Dance Studies, School of Performing Arts, UG, and for the creative minds that brought this project to life. And from poetry, music, and movement to dialogues, I turn over the conversations now to our moderator, the visioneer of this particular adventure. Let's welcome Obemfo Professor Obadele Kambon, who will introduce his panelists for the conversation. Obemfo, over to you.
This is an intro to those who are doing black powerful work, blacknificent work, blackerific work, and spectacular work here in Ghana. We are going to watch a brief video about each one before we go into their introduction. So in order, we will look at Brother Dre Taylor, Iya Omodele, Elizabeth, Olympio, and Brother Calvin Daniel. So we have a video, so if everyone can turn your attention to the screen closest to you, we'll first do the video of Dre Taylor, who is doing a multi-million-dollar real estate development in the eastern region at Obosomasi. So cue the video, please. And we need sound.
He was a builder long before he ever set foot on Zinski. In 2019, Ghana opened a door to the world and called it the Year of Return. Thousands came home to touch the soil, but only a few stayed to build. This is one of them. He was a builder long before he ever set foot on Ghanaian soil. In Kansas City, he founded Nile Valley Aquaponics, an urban farm that grew over 100,000 pounds of food and put local young people to work. He sat on the boards that shaped his city, overseeing construction high in the Aburi Mountains. He is raising the Beyond View, a state-of-the-art, sustainable community of 105 homes, condos, off-grid duplexes, homes with rooftop pools and views that reach the city lights below. Powered by the sun, built to last. He didn't just come home. He left the door open behind him so others could follow. Ladies and gentlemen, the visionary behind the Beyond View, proud dual citizen of Ghana, Dre Taylor.
People build businesses, and some...
Thank you very much. That is a bit about Dre Taylor, and he will speak for himself very shortly. We are also joined by Iya Omodele, Elizabeth, Olympio, Emmanuel, and we also have a short video about the blacktastic work that she is also doing here in Ghana.
People build businesses, and some build spaces where people meet, where cultures connect, and where community becomes something you can feel. This is the story of a woman who has devoted her life to doing both. Ormo Dele Elizabeth Olympio Emmanuel is a Ghanaian entrepreneur, restaurateur, and hospitality and tourism professional. As managing director of Elysium Company Limited, she leads projects across real estate, hospitality, tourism, and consultancy, creating experiences that connect people to place, purpose, and culture. In 2015, she co-founded Jamrock Restaurant, Accra's Island Vibes dining destination, where Ghanaian and Jamaican cultures come together through food, music, and art. But her work extends far beyond business. She is a passionate advocate for gender equity, women's empowerment, and child protection, and a founding member of Clean Ghana Now and the Coalition Against Sexual Abuse. Ladies and gentlemen, an entrepreneur, a cultural connector, and a woman creating spaces where people and purpose meet, Ormo Dele Elizabeth Olympio Emmanuel. The door is open.
This is actually a surprise for our panelists because they didn't know that we were doing mini documentaries. So shout out to my brother Onwara putting this together from all the way from Nigeria. He wanted to be here, but we'll get him here for the October date. So of course, not to be outdone, our brother from another mother, Brother Calvin Daniels, our agribusiness, moringa and snail farm entrepreneur.
Some men answer the call to serve, and some, when that chapter closes, answer a second call to build something that will outlast them. This is the story of a man who did both. A master sergeant in the United States Air Force. A life shaped by discipline, by leadership, by something larger than himself. In 2019, that chapter closed. He came to visit Ghana. The land moved him. The people moved him. So he's Shy Hills Snails and Agriculture Farm, sustainable farming in over 50 acres of moringa, a superfood grown to nourish a nation and reach the world. The road wasn't easy. Cultural bridges crossed, one honest step at a time. But discipline does not surrender. Neither did he. What he's building now is rooted in what matters most: community, food security, opportunity. A soldier, a farmer, a builder of futures. Calvin Daniels. The door is open.
He didn't know that we even had his baby pictures, but we didn't put them in this one this time. We'll wait for the October date. So, with no further ado, I do want to get our panel started, and I have the same question for each of our three panelists, and I will give you time to answer them. So, when we say Ghana's great brain gain, what does that mean to you in practical terms beyond the slogan, in terms of the work that you yourself are doing? And I'll start to my right with Dre Taylor, then we'll come to Modele and so forth. So what is Ghana's great brain gain to you in terms of the work that you're doing?
Thanks for having me. The work that I'm doing, I believe, Marcus Garvey said it best, I believe. He said, what man have done, man can do. So I'm not doing anything that nobody else have done before. I'm just standing on the shoulders of the ancestors who came before me and just trying to keep that path going and leading for the youth to come behind me and those who are trying to find their way, come back to home, which is Mother Africa, which I have done. Since then, I've had, I think 15 or 20 or 34 different properties sold, here in Ghana. So trying to bring the diaspora here from that place we call America, who just celebrated 250 years, I guess, of, I don't know what to celebrate, but 250 years of them establishing their country. And so taking that power, that resources, that brain gain from there and implementing it here, where it's still developing, it's only 70 years young, where we can build upon what's already set as far as a foundation and continue to build for those in the future.
All right, thank you very much, Brother Dre Taylor. My sister Iya Amodele, who I prefer to always speak to in Yoruba. That's Amodele, I'm Obadele. What does that mean to you? Ghana's great brain gain. Always we're talking about the brain drain. Jamrock, the work that you're doing in various sectors. What does Ghana's great brain gain mean to you in terms of the work that you are doing?
Thank you. So Jamrock basically connects two countries. We'd like to consider it as the Caribbean, but its focal point is Jamaica and Ghana. Jamrock is my husband and I, and that's Jamaica, and Ghana, that's the base. Now, there's so many similarities and commonalities between Ghana and Jamaica. However, where we found a deficit was in Ghana, whereas services is considered as more than 72% of the GDP of Jamaica. In Ghana, we lack in those services. So the idea is, how can we impact in that field whereas we're still connecting the two countries. It's not just food, it's the culture, it's the food, it is the economic activity as well. So most of the ingredients you find in Ghana here are 100% existing in Jamaica as well. The only difference is the cooking method. And that is what we have been trying to teach and exposing to the Ghanaian public. We have Jamaican clientele as well. Our focus of our staff strength is the youth. So we take in the young ones. To be able to make a change in our service industry, we have to start from the younger ones. So there's a channel of growth where they start young. They come in from after high school. We have graduates on board as well, but we guide the career path. So after 2-3 years, where next? If you do not like the hospitality path, then we guide you to where your passion is. To be able to be successful at any profession that you choose, you must be passionate at it. So we drive this home during our weekly briefings, daily hands-on jobs, and we have students who come in for just the weekend or on holidays, and we encourage them to come in. It's not only about the economic and making the money, but you're carving the future for yourselves and the community that you live in. So it's a broad spectrum when you consider hospitality, tourism, and the catering business, and there are opportunities in each and every one of them.
And that's beautiful. Skills transfer is what we're seeing with that. And anytime I meet someone from Jamaica, they call this place is Eastern Jamaica, and that place is Western Ghana. They say that there's really no difference, that Ghana and Jamaica is one. So thank you for that. My brother from another mother, Calvin Daniels, you are bringing agribusiness, moringa farm, snail farm. What does Ghana's great brain gain mean to you in terms of the work that you're doing?
I think the cultural difference it is wide, but it should come together. We are all the same people. Like I said, my DNA, I'm 97% West African, which is high for African American. And I think that we got to create better industries here, whether it's agriculture, food, or hospitality, because Ghanaians, the youth should not have to leave here to make decent living. They should be able to do it here. This is a extremely, thank you, rich country, but in some aspects poorly managed. It's like, I don't know if any of y'all consume moringa. The knowledge may not be there, but y'all should be consuming moringa every day in some form. Women, men, and the children. And I think that we have to, I'm not saying we as diaspora African Americans come here save Ghanaian, that's what I'm saying. But giving them the knowledge tools and also financial tools so they excel. I keep hearing over and again that they want to do commercial farming, but they don't have the money. But then they can network and work with one another so they can achieve significant things. I think Ghana have enough agricultural land space to feed the world. Why isn't that done? That's a whole nother question. The biggest banana farm in the world is in Ghana, owned by non-Ghanaians. Yeah. That's another thing. I mean, you told me that the Ghanaians been there for thousands of years, they can't grow bananas? Why is that? We have to put our resources together to allow everyone here to succeed, at a high level. On my farm, I do something, I don't know what the other farmers do, but my employees, I have 2 cooks, they get 3 meals a day, they got free Wi-Fi, they got hot water and air conditioning in the unit. So I want to, I hate to say mirror companies in the United States, but I want to treat my employees as well as I financially can, as long as they work, because I want to expand to another 400 acres next year. So there's a lot I can do for myself and my investors and the Ghanaian people. Like I said, I want to build clinics, I want to build schools, and that's something I plan on doing, not just putting CDs or dollars in my pocket.
Thank you so much. And Dre Taylor, one evening I was coming by your property and your workers were just finishing work for the day, and it looked like the Million Man March. As many people are leaving to go back into Obosomasi, you are providing jobs. You've built a computer lab, you've been installed there as well. Can you speak a little bit about how you've come here, not to, in South Africa they talk about, oh, these people are coming from outside, they're taking our jobs. You've come here, you've provided jobs, you've provided housing, you've provided computer literacy, all these things. Can you speak a little bit about your contributions to not just the economy, but the society as a whole, where you are in Obosomasi?
Yes. I didn't just come here to start. I was doing this before I came to Ghana. I had 200 boys that I mentored with a group called Males to Men. I had Big Brothers Big Sisters mentoring group. I had the Nile Valley 100,000 pound food project. I currently have a 200 tree fruit orchard still in Kansas City, Missouri. So I'm just continuing the work that I've done in the States and just brought that here to Ghana. I can have more impact here than I can have there. Every person in the United States spend about $300 to employ or keep the systematic of the private industrial prison complex. $300 for every person in the United States, that's how much we spend. I don't want to be a part of a system that degregates the youth of United States and African American men. So I want to be an example of what can be done and show them that you do have options to come over here. You can contribute. You can see what's going on in South Africa. You hear those groups of the FBA and those different who don't consider themselves African, and they say that they don't like us. And I speak to those brothers and say, what group in Ghana said they don't like you? Was it Airway? Was it the Fanti? Was it the Ashanti? When did they all come together and say, and have a conference? And in what language to say they don't like us? And so just being an example for those to say what can be done is being done. And so this is what I'm here trying to do, just trying to provide a positive example for others who want to follow in those footsteps.
Beautiful, beautiful work that you're doing. Yeah, Omadele, Elizabeth, Olympia, Emmanuel. On the day that Jamrock opened in 2015, I was called to be a keynote speaker. So I've been rolling with Jamrock. And for anyone who doesn't know, Jamrock has their new location right outside of the hall. So we are going to have refreshments here in just a few minutes. But for anyone, they say, "We didn't now one me now walk out the dome." And it translates to, if you're eating and you don't get full, then you take your tongue to go and pull extra crumbs from the back of your tooth. Here, you don't have to pull crumbs from the back of your tooth. You can find full meals right outside at Jamrock. So, Elizabeth, this is to you as well. In terms of those Ghanaians who you employ, your husband is from Jamaica, and together, the two of you as co-founders of Jamrock, I know you've touched the lives of so many people who are now, doing hospitality in their own right. They know how being a restaurateur works. They understand supply chains, all of these things. Can you speak about the impact you've had in terms of this great brain gain of repatriation, your husband repatriating and you coming here, you being here and helping him to do that for this skills transfer, this work that these people are now learning? If you can speak just a little bit about the impact that you've had in the workplace, in the society in Ghana.
All right, so it's not just about food, as I said earlier on. It's a cycle. There's a big supply chain when it comes to the restaurant catering business. You're looking at skill sets, you're training workforce, you're looking at from the farm to the pot to the plate, so that's a whole chain on itself. You're creating a matrix of producers and connecting them to a network of not just your restaurant, but a whole network of an association of restaurateurs, the hotels, industry as well. When it comes to the impact, good food, of course. Culturally, we celebrate both Ghana and Jamaica. So what we have set up at the restaurant is more of a cultural center. When you get in there, you feel the air, the spirit of Pan-Africanism. We want you to understand where this history has started from, pre-independence, the struggle through Pan-Africanism, and today where we stand, we no longer look at the hurts of the past. How does today's world impact on economic activity? How can you derive monetary gain in the work that you do? Ackee, for instance. Ackee is known to be the national fruit, national dish of Jamaica, but it was originating here in Ghana, and not many Ghanaians eat it. Moreover, it is food. It is good for ornamental trees, which is used for driveways. What we did was, we created a drive where we harvested the fruits from our last harvest, and we nursed 5,000 seedlings. We put up a society drive. We said, come, dine with us, and pick a free seedling, 10, 20, 50, what you can, and share with your neighbors to grow some trees in your communities. We nursed 5,000 seedlings. And this has gone far and wide. It means that in about 10 years, Jamrock still standing, notwithstanding the challenges of the business environment. It means we can be harvesting across the country all these trees that we have put in there. So this is future planning in place. It's not only about the agriculture, the human resources I've talked about, and there's so much to consider when you look at tourism. We want to do cultural exchange. The only hindrance has been how to get to one place from Jamaica to Ghana without having going through the US, the UK, and going past the visa issues. It means a chartered flight. I know one of the countries, Bahamas or one of the other countries, has created a chartered flight with the diaspora affairs that should be going in August. I'll follow up on that. But this is something that we'll need to promote, and quarterly, we can have Jamaicans coming in for 2 weeks, we can have Ghanaians going over, and it's another way of generating revenue and teaching the culture across borders.
So this is wonderful. I see my brother Luanga Songsore. He's from the Upper West, and they eat ackee straight off the tree raw. Luanga, can you put your hand up? Since he taught me that, I started eating my ackee raw. Of course, you have to let it open up naturally first. Yes. I don't want anyone getting any health problems. Once it opens up naturally, and then tree is called anche.
Anche, that is correct.
So the ackee is coming from the tree word, but what I realized is that in the south of Ghana, a lot of the foods that are indigenous, we don't even eat anymore. Right here, there's baobab growing right outside of African Studies, and I was eating some one day, and one of my students from Ghana said, oh, is that food? But when I went to Mali, that's what they eat.
Yes.
Just pick baobab fruit, so thank you for that.
In addition to that, we are currently located at the University of Ghana, just by the registry, and we have planted so many additional trees and introduced as well all these traditional, authentic plants that people don't know about. So we have the breadfruit tree, we've got the jackfruit there, the aramant, which locally is alefu, the Jamaican spinach is kalaloo. So there's a lot more than just coming in to place an order for a meal.
Absolutely.
We take you around the process from the ground to your plate.
So this is beautiful, and I love that. Thank you so much. And as we're talking about planting trees, now we're in your wheelhouse. We have to get moringa on the menu, so this is going to be one of your suppliers. Now, Brother Calvin Daniels, I first came across the work that you're doing. It was actually a Repatriate to Ghana client who brought you for a special delegation that we're holding for the President General of the UNIA. I'm now the ambassador for the UNIA to the entire continent. But I also saw a video of you, Web Nation. I had done an interview with Web Nation, and you interviewed right after. Your interview far surpassed my interview because you were talking about how you can become a millionaire by growing moringa. Me, myself, I started investing in your moringa farm. Can you talk about the work? In that video, you mentioned that you had 19 employees, that you are giving them free food for every single day, air conditioning, internet, cable, a place to live, all of these things. Can you talk about the impact that you've had on the workforce, as you've briefly alluded to before?
It's important. None of this can be done without employees. And my experience here, some do not take care of their employees, and then they wonder why employees are walking away with stuff. You know, I mean, they're gonna take care of themselves and their family. That's just human nature. So my idea is to get quality employees, treat them well, and the work is hard. You know, I couldn't do what they do every day, and it's important that we keep educating them on our norms and values, not to change what they do, but like I don't do Ghana time. Like if you was meet me at 1 o'clock, it's not 1:10, it's 1 o'clock. Because at 1:05, I might be gone.
That's a military man, he's not playing.
But I see it's a norm here. I have had meetings with business people and meetings at 1 o'clock and 1:30, 2 o'clock, I'm on my way. And let's reschedule then. But it's really important. And then I know that the Ghanaians here, I spoke at your wife function, the doula. A lot of, primarily the women don't know the value of this product here, moringa powder or leaves. This is 1 kg of moringa powder. Here in Ghana, I could probably sell this for 300 CDs. This in the United States would be $150. That's the difference. And just getting around the processes of exporting it is key. But my goal, as I say, is not just to line my pocket. I have to give back. United States has afforded me a decent retirement where I don't have to work ever. But why not keep busy and doing, you know, and my health has improved since I moved here. When I got here 5 years ago, I was 388 pounds. And in the next six to 8 months I got here, I lost 140. And then I still need to lose more. But I love to eat. I love my own cooking. You know, and I cook with moringa and the black-eyed peas. I do the oxtails and smoked turkeys. I love my own cooking. My employees love my cooking too, but that's a whole other story. But I think that we need to work together. I thought coming here it would be different. Like African Americans, we don't work together at all. And I thought coming to Africa, that it would be a tight-knit community, but it's not. It's like if I'm Ashanti or I'm this and that, and this tribalism needs to stop. You know, we all we're one person, so we need to work on that as well.
Thank you so much. And I'm going to do one more round of questions, and then I'm going to pass it over to the floor. Any questions you have for those who are making an impact, those diasporans? This is the decade of our repatriation. So if we can think about a single year for people to come and visit, what that can do for Ghana, imagine an entire decade of people bringing their knowledge, bringing their skills, bringing all of those things to bear. So for Dre, as a real estate developer and Pan-African entrepreneur, what kinds of investment and development models can help diasporans return or repatriate without being exploited, misled, confused? What are those types of models?
I think doing things as a collective. You don't know what you don't know when you come to Ghana. You don't know that 90% of issues in the court system are land issues. A lot of times we come here, we come with our heart and not with our head. And so we leave our common sense at home when we come here, and we don't do the same things we would do at home that we would do here. You know, we come here and we get excited, we coming back home, and we just don't do our due diligence for the most part. And so doing things as a collective, reaching out to people who have done it, who can help guide us in the right direction, from lands commissions to getting lawyers, licensed surveyors, these type of things you're gonna need to be able to just get your project off the ground. That's 90% of the battle. Once you're able to do that, then you can start mending relationships. There's no, back at home we have Craigslist, things of that nature where you can go and find out referrals from somebody. Here you're just coming with a blank sheet of paper and trying to find out who does what. You know, we have different standards of quality of build in which we like, and so trying to find those who can build that we've worked with, who's going to be there on Monday, who's going to be there on Tuesday, these type of things that will sink your business. Literally sink your business if you just don't know. You know, so everybody don't always have your best interest at heart, but when you find those good people, they're worth their price in gold. Jamrock, for instance, I brought over 300 people to Jamrock.
Oh, wow.
You know, supporting her business, just having conversations with her. I didn't even know she's going to be on a panel, you know, but these type of things where you build great relationships with people that's here doing the work. And so back to just doing it as a collective. We're stronger together than we are apart.
Beautiful. And just to that same point, if everyone can pull out your phones now and go to D.O.O.R.events with an S. When you do that, you'll see a survey. And that survey, we've had over 500 people fill it out for those who are either already living in Ghana or looking at living in Ghana, and what they are looking for, their challenges, what they've experienced, so forth. Because when we go to the government, when we go with Honorable KKD to the office of the president and so forth, we want to have hard data to go there with. When you go to that same survey, there's a split survey, there's another one for students. And this is matching them with the companies that they want to work for. Based on this conversation, there are some students who will want to work for you with your real estate. There are some who are going to want to work with Jamrock. There are some who are going to work with the Shah Hills, Snell, and Agriculture Farm. So again, this is a mechanism to match you exactly with those diasporans and Ghanaians who have companies and corporations and who can help you. Now, Jamrock, we're already looking at collaborating on something. I think we talked about doing tree classes next month for Black August. So this year marks 100 years of Black History Month, and next month will be Black August. We're going to bring those together, and what we're doing is we're bringing together the work you're doing with Jamrock with what Decade of Our Repatriation is all about. Can you speak to what your vision is by the October 30th dialogue? What do you want to see in terms of Jamrock's, work with those who are looking to repatriate, in addition to the tree classes, the enculturation, the hospitality, tasting the foods, smelling the smells, experiencing what it is to be in Ghana? What is your vision for the role of Jamrock by the time we get to the October 30th dialogue?
Aside giving good nutrition. All right, so of course we're welcoming everyone to come home. We collaborate. Collaboration is key. We can't say we have all the resources in place, so collaboration is key. If you're coming in from the diaspora, like I said, Ghana has a deficit in customer service quality. So if you have that skill set, reach out. There's a big room. If you have funding where you can set up a hospitality institute to train, bring it on board. It means that you would have the entire restaurant and hotels associations tapping into this industry. We lack greatly. I should be focusing on selling more food, but I find myself training, constantly training and pouring myself into people. Yes, it's a good thing, it's my people, and hoping that we have guided that path for the youth, because they come back with success stories and it's great, it's fantastic. We've built a strong brand. It's not put a lot of money in my pocket yet, but I know it's a long-term vision and we'll definitely get there. But for now, we are investing in human capital. So in this regard, by the 30th of October, I am hoping that a lot more people, students, the youth, will sign on, and we will have mostly the academic community jumping on board, because the restaurant is right here on campus, and it's located in a beautiful space as well. We are definitely going to be looking at launching Jamrock outside campus. So this place is going to be carved and niched purposefully for the University of Ghana, Legon, to give it the feel, to give everyone the feel and the vibe for Jamaican, Ghanaian cuisine. It's a fusion. We keep it authentic, but there is a fusion element as well, where you have jerk chicken served with jollof rice. We have not changed the recipe of either. We train. There are set protocols and procedures, and anyone who walks in on any day should be able to replicate. It's a teaching environment, and we like to know that we are impacting the youth in this regard.
Thank you so much. And that sounds so wonderful and so delicious as well. The refreshments are coming. Wow.
Thank
so,
you.
That's Ghanaian food, Jamana, bring it together. There we go. Now, Brother Calvin, as well. Now, we had a conversation and you said that the students who are studying agriculture, you wanted us to take an entire bus load of those students so that they could actually see what the farm is all about. For me, I believe that the same way cocoa has been the backbone of Ghana's economy, moringa can be, over the next 10 years, the new backbone of Ghana's economy, and then some, to the tune of billions. Now, with your work in moringa, snail agribusiness, entrepreneurship is very practical. What can young people learn from agribusiness as a path to ownership and wealth creation for the decade of our repatriation?
Far as what we do, I'm going to add, we do a neem snail slime mucin for cosmetics, and also moringa. But one thing I find out is that everyone doing agriculture, and they're using, we are organic as well. Right. We don't use man-made chemicals. We have rabbits because we want rabbit manure, and then we're going to actually get goats for goat manure as well, because them are organic manures that you can put it directly on your plant, on your product, and it doesn't burn them or anything like that. So that's key. But financially, I think moringa can transform this country. That's how much potential income is in moringa. Right now, moringa is a $9 billion worldwide industry. And by 2033, it's projected to be 23 billion. And that's key. If say we take our organization 100 million, that's huge. But the opportunity is for other people to get on this moringa farm curve, whatever, because right now, most of the moringa in the world is coming from India, and they have their own organic certification, which the quality of the moringa is not on par with what is grown here in Ghana. So the opportunities are here. And neem is a $5 billion industry. So it's another industry that Ghanaians should be growing. And far as in Ghana, everyone, I'm not a medical professional, but it's my opinion and my research, everyone should be drinking 1 or 2 cups of neem tea every week. If you have neem in your system, you will not get malaria. But that's just something else to add. And then people like me say snail slime, they frown, but snail mucin is huge. 1 kg of dehydrated snail slime is $33,000. And here, y'all eat the snails and y'all throw the snail slime away. Of course, you have to have the equipment to process it. For a commercial snail processing machine, it's like $23,000. But if you have the volume of snails, you'll make your money back quickly. It's like a moringa processor. We're building a plant. To outfit the plant is going to be about $60,000. But once we're processing, 1 export, we'll get the money back in 1 month. So the money is here in use. I would love y'all to bring the children or youth out here and see what we're doing. You know, I dug like the water mitigation. You see the flooding here. I dug a trench along the mountain. My home, I live in a container home, which is below a mountain. And I dug a trench so when it rains, the trench fills up and flows down to a dam. The dam holds 500,000 gallons of water. So we won't have any water problems. And plus, I have 3 boreholes. And then we got catfish in the pond. We got like 600 catfish, so y'all can come out and catch some catfish. So I think the opportunities in Ghana is so big that a lot of people don't realize it. They might have the funds to do it. I would love to finance farmers in the future to help the youth, expand as well.
All right. Thank you so much. So what we're going to do, I was just told that for the sake of time, that we do want to begin to bring things to a close. As I mentioned, we have several projects. So when you go to the Decade of Our Repatriation website, again, anyone who has a smartphone, you can pull out the phone. There are several components to the Decade of Our Repatriation. One is projects. So some of the major projects include the Beyond View, the multi-million-dollar real estate project right there in the eastern region. It is just like the work that Brother Calvin Daniels is doing with 46 acres, and by next year, over 400 acres we're looking to expand out to. We also have the Kweku Ando Sustainability Institute. This is a multi-million-dollar eco-resort and training facility in the Volta region. Some people think when diasporans come, they just stay in Accra and don't go anywhere. You're seeing actual cases of those who are not sitting in Accra, but are actually making an impact all throughout Ghanaian society. Nana Fofi, who is here, also in the eastern region, is doing amazing work, and I've gotten a chance to go to Achim, to the Ahimfie there, and see the beautiful work. So there are many who are doing work like this. The biggest one that we have coming forth is a $100 billion city that is proposed from the Asante region. That one requires quite a lot because we have to have the Minister of Roads on board. We have to have, energy. We have to have all of these different components. So we're in the process of bringing those all together. So when you go to D.O.O.R.events, click on the projects and see the projects that are going on, just like Abibitumi, which is going on. We have a film festival through Abibitumi that's also going on. We have a conference. All of these events are coming all throughout the year. So stay close to D.O.O.R.events. There are also partners. So if you're looking to partner with the Decade of Our Repatriation, go to the website. You can see how you can partner as an institution, as an organization, as an individual even with that as well. There are also opportunities for sponsors, just like SIC. If you want your name to go out to hundreds of thousands of people in one go, then again, you want to be a sponsor for the Decade of Our Repatriation. So before we close out, I know we have Kafui Day, we have a palm wine band, we're going to have refreshments, but before we close out, we do want to have a group photo. So that's going to include not just those of us on the high table, but everyone who is here. We want you to be part of this historic moment, because in the future, someone is going to ask, where were you during the Decade of Our Repatriation? We want you to be able to point at yourself in that photo and say, I was there at the very foundation. Look at what it has gotten us. So, Brother Kafui Day, if you're still with us, if you can come back. If also people can make their way up front, yes. So we were going to pause from the Q&A. Did you have something? And anyone who wants to ask a question of the panelists, we're going to have you ask those one by one. But we do want people to move for the final photo. So, Kafui, I'm turning it back over to you.
Thank you so much, Obenfo. So the first set of photos will be taken by Obenfo and his panelists. If you can just rise. And then our photographers, let's take the first set of photos with our panelists who've given us a real great insight. 1 kilogram of what? Of dehydrated snail slime is going for $33,000 US dollars.
US dollars.
No way.
Yeah. It takes 15 kgs of liquid slime to make 1 kg of dehydrated slime, but it's concentrated. But
wow.
For cosmetics.
Wow. Wow. So this is the first photo. And can we have all of us come up as if we're at a wedding to take a photo? Big family photo.
Oh.
Big family photo. Those of you who don't want to go up, you can just.
stand on the head, don't want injuries.
By the stairs. You don't need to climb up. Yes. Big family photo. Alrighty. Make sure you are part of this photo. It's historic. And while we're at it, let's give another big round of applause to our outstanding moderator, Obinfu Professor Obadele Campbell, and our distinguished panelists, Dre Taylor, Omodele Elizabeth, Olympia Emmanuel, and Calvin Daniels. Big round of applause while you are standing. Let's clap for them. Make sure you catch them during the networking so you can ask your questions one-on-one. 1v1. Thank you all for a very honest, thought-provoking, and inspiring conversation. So today's dialogue has reminded us returning home is not simply about geography, it's about reconnecting with purpose, opportunity, heritage, and our shared future. Are we good? All right. So on 3, everybody's going to shout, decade of our return, repatriation, okay? So on 3, 2, 1, decade of our repatriation. We're spelling D.O.O.R. 1, 2, 3, decade of our repatriation. Say it like you mean it. When I say decade of our repatriation, everybody will say D.O.O.R. with your fist up in the air. All right? So decade of our repatriation. D.O.O.R. One more. Decade of our repatriation. This is for the ancestors. Decade of our repatriation. Thank you so much. The door is open. One more. Decade of our repatriation. D.O.O.R. Decade of our repatriation. D.O.O.R. One more. Decade of our repatriation. D.O.O.R. Thank you so much. Give yourselves a big round of applause. Thank you. That was good. Thank you. Thank you very, 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 very much. So while you're networking, we'll be sharing the refreshments around. Thank you so much. On behalf of the organizers of the Open Door Dialogues, thank you to our speakers, our partners, our sponsors, every one of you for contributing to the success of this official media launch. And we want to say thanks to all of you. We've brought the formal proceedings of the Open Door Dialogues official media launch to a close, but the conversation doesn't end here. We will now invite you all to remain for a networking reception, a wonderful opportunity to continue the conversations we have begun today, to forge new partnerships, to reconnect with old friends, and to explore new possibilities for collaboration. Members of the media, you are welcome to conduct interviews with our keynote speaker who just left, our special guests, our panelists, our organizers. As you network, you will be entertained with music from Palm Wine. Yes, thank you so much. I want to thank our special guest of honor, His Excellency King Tracy Che Dakwa, the President's special envoy to the Caribbean, our keynote speaker and special address speakers, our distinguished panelists, our moderator, University of Ghana, Institute of African Studies, School of Performing Arts, our sponsor and partners, especially SIC Insurance PLC, whose support has helped make today's event possible. Production, protocol, media, security, technical teams working hard behind the scenes. And finally, to all of you for honoring this invitation and helping launch what promises to become an important platform for dialogue between Africa and its global diaspora. My name is Kafui Day. It's truly been an honor and a privilege to serve as your Master of Ceremonies today. Travel safely, continue the conversations. May the spirit of Open Door Dialogues inspire us to build stronger bridges across Africa and the global African family. Enjoy the networking reception. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon. Thank you. God bless you all.
What if returning home wasn't simply about coming back? What if it was about building the future? Across the world, thousands are asking the same question. How can I reconnect? How can I contribute? How can I belong? the University of Ghana College of Humanities presents Open Door Dialogues, where ideas become partnerships and dialogue becomes action, creating opportunities in education, business, investment, innovation, entrepreneurship, and meaningful collaboration for Ghana and the global African community. Together, we're transforming brain drain into Ghana's great brain gain, where talent returns, investment grows, and the future is built together. Join us. Be part of Ghana's next chapter. The door is open.
Come step inside, oh yeah, oh yeah. Door down open wide, over again. Black starlight, come on now this your time. Doors open now this your time, this your time, this your time. Doors wide open, come step inside, now this your time, this your time. Come on now this your time, this your time, this your time. Doors wide open, come step inside, now this your time, this your time. Doors wide open, this your time. You run go abroad, try chase your own. Concrete they loud, but you drown your skin. Spirit they whisper, Charlie check with it. Won't be the root where they hold your chin. They make it hard, so you chase new ground. But the same ones break and the rush come down. Lies they so while they tire go, though they come back home. This is our coco. Aquaba, aquaba. Come step inside, oh yeah, oh yeah. Door down open wide, over again. Black star line, come on now this your time. Doors open now, this your time, this your time, this your time. Doors wide open, come step inside, now this your time, this your time. Come on now, this your time, this your time, this your time. Doors wide open, come step inside, now this your time, this your time. Doors wide open, this your time. They come to our homes, but the link no die. Try to break us down, but the vibe still fly. Everywhere you touch, you they multiply. The bounce they show, say we still they tight. Then go hide their place, but this blocks the sun. Years don't pass, but your mind's still strong. Shall it fall in? Make we build this home. Black star up and the work's begun. Your time, your move. Drop your gear, your reach, your coins. Come stretch that head. World they take, but the card don't play. It's the great brain game on my next 10 years. Aquaba, aquaba. Come step inside, oh yeah, oh yeah. Door down open wide, over cat. Black star line, come home now this your time. Doors open now this your time, now this your time, this your time. Doors wide open, come step inside, now this your time, this your time. Come on now this your time, now this your time, this your time. Doors wide open, come step inside, now this your time, this your time. Doors wide open, this your time.
Chasing shadows, no more falling stars. Energy wasted, resources drained.